some point in the middle of
It's the opposite.
or we're live.
Really?
We need more research on this.
We do need more research.
I feel like it'll be hard to dominate a twink.
It would be harder to
No,
dominate
they
a
want
twink.
it so bad. They want it so bad. It's like pathetic.
Well, I think there's certain
Too much.
like
Yeah.
it's not always going to be the
Like
case. But I
Smeth
think
wants to be dominated so bad you could like smell it on him.
a lot of twinks, I think, are choosing, or part of them is choosing to be twinks. Like they're keeping themselves skinny and shit. Some of them, like some people are just naturally skinny, but I think like when you, eventually at some point something's got to. I don't know how the fuck people get old and skinny.
That happens to everyone in my family. Every single person in my family.
Are they like? Do they have access to food?
Yeah, it's happening to me now for some reason. I think
You just said that you
typically
gained
lose
weight.
volume. No, but in my face you can see. I can show you pictures of me from like when I was 20 and pictures of me now.
Since it's
Oh, but you can see pictures of me from when I was like 20 and pictures of me now. My face is becoming more like chiseled. I'm like losing volume in like in a way that is like positive.
Masculine.
Even though I'm gaining weight, I think it's more in like,
you're becoming a man.
Yeah, I'm becoming. And when I say wait, first of all, I'm gaining weight from like my nice like low. My normal is like I was 130 for the first like 3 years of my 20s, and now I'm like my high now is like 120.
I've like gotten fatter at points, but like not gained weight.
Interesting. Do you think like just the macros you're eating or like can change your body?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, eating a lot of carbs, like it absorbs like a lot of water and shit. Like carbs like bloat you up and shit.
Yeah.
So that's probably a big part of it. Still waiting on Tuna, but he's gonna be here soon. We're live. Just so you know, on my stream, I'm not talking to you two. I'm telling anybody that's watching. The reason it looks messed up is because as soon as Tuna pops in, those two windows will look fine. Trust me. I think.
Oh no! Wait. My dinner came. I ordered a baked potato, so I'm gonna be eating a baked potato during this stream. It's like a random thing to eat, but I'm gonna eat
Did you
it.
say you ordered a baked potato?
Yeah, I sure did.
Ordered it.
I wonder if she means like ordered someone to bake her a potato or like
Yeah, her
food-like thing.
fiance. She told her
Yeah.
fiance to bake her a potato.
Bake me a potato.
Yeah. All right. So, do you believe in social contagion? Do you think it's a real thing?
I think we need to start by defining it because I
Okay.
only have like the vaguest kind of notion of what that's supposed to be.
Okay. We gotta wait for the other people.
And is this like a debate? Like does
No.
or is
I'm
this just a discussion?
It's a discussion. I'm not even sure how much disagreement we're gonna have, but like this is a really this is a the reason that we have Sock here. Sock doesn't even use TikTok.
Nope.
But I trust him to keep me and anyone else, like he's incredibly responsible with like, information, and he's passionate about that. And so we're gonna say crazy shit, and he's gonna be like, he's gonna be the adult in the room, I'm assuming, and he's gonna be like, hold on, guys, like, so, and that, I think that's gonna be healthy. Tuna Chip, like everything he says is like neurodivergent, but it's like very interesting, but he has very unique things to say. And Femoid here is like an absolute veteran of TikTok, so she has authority, I guess, on the topic.
Got a nice diverse panel.
Yeah.
Cool.
Dude, what the fuck? They put meat on my vegetarian potato.
You should make a TikTok about it, I guess, or something.
No, I don't think I will.
Have you been using TikTok?
I started using it today again. I had like a 6-month hiatus of using it because it just gets fucking brutal.
As like watching TikToks or creating on TikTok. I don't know anything about
Creating on TikTok. It just opens you up for like mass hysteria of like the 14-year-olds who are like. every time I post anything, they're like, aren't you the transphobe? And then they make like 30, 50 videos on me, how I should be canceled and no one should watch my videos. And I'm just like, oh God, I don't want to go through this every single time.
Yeah. Using it's fucked up too.
Using it is also fucked up.
I get notifications that are like, it's like TikTok, the app, is trying to catfish me. It's like, someone you love just said something great, or like that'll be what it'll like pop up on my phone, and I haven't used it in like 3 months. So fuck, we gotta wait for fucking Tuna.
Dude, why is he taking so long?
Because he's driving his car. Well, like, he's getting out of work. He should have told us to wait. He should have told us the good start time would have been 8:10 or 8 whatever. I don't know. It's his fault. Okay. So, Bemoy, do you think that social contagion is a thing?
Yeah.
Okay. How would you define it?
Social contagion?
Yeah.
Or I don't know really how I would define it as much as I know when I see it, right? Like I think it could be I think it has multiple definitions, but I think social contagion in the form of like, well, on social media, I think like the most exaggerated place I've seen it is like eating disorder forums, self-harm forums, and now like transsexual or like transgender like communities and forums.
Yeah.
Where you consume this content and then it sort of like ravages through your life and through communities.
There's different ways that I think that it could function. First of all, like, so I think TikTok is uniquely designed around whatever principle behind social contagion is a thing. I think TikTok is designed, that's like the core principle of TikTok. That's how it functions.
It's creating challenges. It's like getting people to emulate each other.
Yes, templates. So like there will be like a format for a post, and like I just reposted this on Twitter, but like it was like, holy shit, I just had a transgender surgery, and then like some like rant. It's like some clip like that, and there's all these trans men, like people that had their breasts cut out, or they're like, you know, the eye hole thing where you get like vials attached to you that get the fat dripping out or whatever. And this like, it's like 8 minutes long, and they cut all of these things, and it's probably like 200 or 300 of them. So like jumping on the trend of making a video about this, and it's to say that has no impact on people making these choices, to me is like, what are you talking? Like, of course that makes an impact. But it's not just that. I'm seeing like crime. Like the recently I saw a trend of people like using like a USB to hijack like Kias. And they would like steal these cars, and they had to recall the car apparently because of this trend, but they would steal the cars to make a TikTok and then leave it somewhere else, because they just wanted to make the video about stealing a car. And like originally, like when this started on Vine, there was the trends of like stealing like donuts and shit from like Dunkin' Donuts, and like it's just like a wave of crime. Like it's like it has
people just like run and grab some donuts and run out.
Yeah. Like you know how the donuts are on behind the servers in the trays on the wall, like taking a tray out, like stepping over the thing, grabbing a tray, and walking out of the place.
Yeah, I remember when something as simple as like grabbing the ice cream by the ice cream at a drive-thru. That was huge. I think a more I think what's scary to me is the social contagion that like our youth is dealing with right now, that is like constant like peddling of like leftist agenda, which is I think most of it is fine, but then you have all these people who like won't end up looking into politics or won't end up being like active won't end up being informed voters because they're just like, because it's like this, you know, the Hassan Pikers of the world are constantly peddling this like kind of mindless anti-intellectual like politics stuff to the younger generation. And so now we have a bunch of people who are like diehard political provocateurs who know nothing about politics, who like know nothing about politics, on the left mostly, and I think that sucks.
Mm-hmm. So
and also the cancellation thing that got really big like 5 years ago, like all banding together to cancel a TikTok creator and make a ton of videos and like that was a big thing. I almost felt like at some point in my TikTok career, I felt like I had to make those videos to get any sort of views.
Interesting. So there's these like big waves that get formed, and like a whole bunch of people all act in a very collective, coherent in the sense of like acting together manner.
Yeah.
And maybe it's like bombarding people with hate messages, or is there like spam reporting? I know like on Twitch.
Yeah.
There's spam. Okay, TikTok is spam reporting. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unique from Twitter, like, or X. It like on are we gonna call it X? I don't know, but like
Twitter. I don't give a fuck. Yeah.
Twitter is like I want it to be X. So that's the thing. Twitter is like unique because it's built around building social bubbles. Like your world on Twitter looks however you designed it to be, or the algorithm designed it to be for you. Like your impression of what reality, like one person's Twitter timeline looks totally different from another person's Twitter timeline, and you could think they're living in a totally different world. But I
don't even want to know what your Twitter timeline looks like.
Mine is like, mine is fucking like garbage because I'm trying to like and that's not even entertaining. But I think on TikTok, it's not just that it's bubbles of people, but it's like it's not like you're isolating yourself into like a bubble of thought and stuff. It's that they're not like motionless bubbles. They're like you're jumping on like a bandwagon that's moving. You have to be moving with it. You have to be posting. You have to be like
there's some pressure to be active in some way.
Sure, that exists on Twitter though. But you're not rewarded for being active on Twitter. Like posting on Twitter doesn't get you followers. You have to like comment on other people's shit to get followers. Posting and opting into what other people are saying gets you followers on TikTok. So if everyone else like is getting like surgeries, like that's going to get you a lot of followers. And I think young people that gets into your brain as this is what it means to be loved. Like you're 15 years old or something, and you jump onto the bandwagon of what other people are doing. Now you suddenly have a wave of support and attention,
and a feeling of purpose, maybe.
Yeah,
like we're doing something.
Okay, here he is.
Hey.
Luna! Oh no.
What's up, slurs? How we doing?
Slurs.
Good.
I couldn't choose which one I was gonna say, so we're working with a variable. Okay, we're working fucking overtime here because I'm so fucking stupid. I've been driving for over an hour in the goddamn rain. Everybody wants to murder me. Every single person wanted to see me dead on the street.
Fair.
You're one of them, motherfucker. Okay.
All right.
I was listening for a bit, but you can catch me up to speed if you think that that's the best way to introduce another character into the fray.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I think if you fucking know what we're saying, we don't need to repeat ourselves. Okay.
Good. Love it.
Okay. I think that so it's important to note that there's social contagion theory, which is a specific thing, and there's data to like support it. Okay. And then there's colloquial use of social contagion.
Okay, maybe you can describe those.
Okay, so like social contagion colloquially could include cancel culture.
Mm-hmm.
But I think social contagion, as far as like social contagion theory, we're talking about like there's now a diagnosable like alternative to Tourette's that is now like recognized by doctors.
What is
and
it?
It's like it's Tourette's that is because you mimicked Tourette's from TikTok too many times. Now you have tics. And it looks like kind of like Tourette's, except like, you know, comically like Tourette's, but you don't actually have Tourette's. You're just like reinforce these behaviors. Now it's like a real part of your life.
That is so fucked up.
Yeah.
And
that,
so there's some way to determine that people actually like have a compulsion now as a result.
Dude,
I don't
take
know if
the
there's
internet away from us.
I don't know if there's a way to determine it, but I know that they had this conclusion from this study, so that the doctors can be informed when diagnosing people with Tourette's, that one of the things that can be going on is like, well, do you use TikTok? What are you posting on TikTok? Are you doing these Tourette's things on TikTok? Like it's a totally different like neurological like thing that's happening than actually like having Tourette's.
So
I'm sure.
Yeah, so that's something that's super interesting to me, because I've seen some of those TikToks of I think I've seen mostly girls. I don't know if there's boys. There must be, but that are doing like it looks really fake. Like it looks very clearly distinct from someone who actually has Tourette's. All the hallmarks of
It's always the pop.
Yeah.
It's always something like that.
And they do something cute. They do something like yeah.
Ooh.
It looks really forced. It looks like it. Yeah.
I'm gonna contract Tourette's, and my tick is gonna be ooh.
Ooh, yep. You know what the TikTok Tourette's, it's sort of like that current thing going on, ice cream's so good. Someone's gonna be called the ice cream so good. Gang.
It's a little addicting. It's a little addicting.
Yeah, dude, I'm honestly worried like people are gonna imagine that becomes baked into your internal monologue. Like you see ice cream and in your mind you go, ice cream's so good. Imagine.
Yummy. Ice cream's so good. It doesn't end there. It doesn't end there. I want to catch in on a thing really quick. So, y'all were talking about social contagion. We don't need to define it. We just need to actually even describe it a little bit. And then I think there's another thing going on there, which is like, what's the difference between a social trend and something that is a social contagion? So
yeah,
if a social contagion is some situation where by socializing with people, something involuntarily becomes a part of yourself. This is an example of it. Like with the tics, you started voluntarily and then it just stayed.
It's an example of a contagion if it involuntarily becomes part of you.
I think that would be like a good line for it, is to talk about whether or not there is an involuntary element to it. Whether or not it's like you have, I could even say that like, I think for a long time before we thought about memes in this way, just being like a suicidal person, like having suicidal thoughts, was a little socially contagious.
Well, we know that suicide is socially contagious in general.
Yeah. We know that it is, but I mean like to the point where someone doesn't even, suicidal thoughts, not just suicide itself, because we know that suicide itself, you know, someone kills themselves and then you get put into that place. I do think that on the internet, recurrent dialogues about suicide, and one of the main reasons people avoid people that are like, that have like an eating disorder and hanging out with and talking with them, other than in this like very, you're a bad girl for being too thin, queen, dialogue, is because the more time that you spend around them, the more that those thoughts are familiar, the more that they have sort of like an affect reality. You might not believe them in the logic sense, but you feel that it's true. You feel, yes, killing yourself is normal. Starving yourself is normal. I do need to become a skinny legend by only having girl dinner. That seems to be like a contagion, like an emotional contagion. And then it goes a step further where suddenly it's a behavioral one. That's what these tics are. Do we think...
DID was a
DID?
huge
Yeah,
one.
DID. Yeah.
DID?
That was a huge one on TikTok.
I was
Yeah.
about to bring that up at some point.
What was it called? Chronic Lyme. Chronic Lyme disease was another thing that was going on where people were describing symptoms that they were probably actually having, but they were describing them as having started with and being in perpetuity consequence of Lyme disease. Long COVID is another instance where we don't actually know whether or not this long COVID thing has anything to do with the COVID, or if it's just COVID made it so that you were a little bit more conscious of your body. So a lot of these symptoms that of exhaustion people are talking about.
No. That's 100% not. That's 100% not true. I know someone who has long COVID, and it's like chills. It's like really extreme exhaustion. It's like pain. It's not these like little psychosomatic.
Yeah, it damages your body, and that's like we've seen physical, we've seen tangible evidence of long COVID.
The reason
I'm not talking about. Okay,
the reason it makes your taste.
I'm saying that everybody just is describing symptoms that they might have had before as long COVID because it becomes a trending. I'm not saying that people. I'm not saying long COVID is a fake thing. I'm saying that there are these periods of time where there is a trending diagnosis that then suddenly wraps everything into its fray.
Yeah.
You can really easily describe that limp that you used to have now being like a sort of like really, really developed limp. I would describe it as atrophy from a lack of motion after COVID, some instances or something like that. But you could also just say, well, once I got COVID, as soon as COVID was over, all of my chronic pain symptoms were higher than ever. Yada yada yada.
I have seen a lot of like obese or like morbidly obese people be like, I am dealing with long COVID, and it's like,
I have
no,
long
you are
fat.
like you are killing yourself. Yeah.
I have long being fat. I don't have temporary being fat. I have chronic being fat.
Well, gaining weight, like there's a phenomenon that happens where like the people around you don't get fat. Like, so you'll get fat. The people around you don't get fat. And then the people around them do get fat, and it spreads in a way where it's not even like direct.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a thing. I mean,
all my girlfriends got fat at the same time, like 2 years ago. It was actually kind of crazy.
It's gravy osmosis. One person puts the mashed potato in, the other person takes on the caloric principle. Isn't that kind of like smoking?
Yeah.
Like, people smoke because they're around people that are smoking. It becomes part of the social exercise.
I think
monkey see, monkey do.
A big part of getting fat usually is you're being enabled.
Doing right now.
Usually people that get really fat, not all the time, but a lot of times you're being enabled or being fed by people in your life. And so when someone gets fat, then they're teaching the enabling behaviors to the people around them, and then the people in their lives end up getting fat. I think that's the way that functions.
Fat people need you to be fat. They need you to be fat. You need to.
Well, they need you to be. They need you to be a feeder.
There's even a little bit of like, I'm not even talking about it from that fetishistic angle, although the feeders do exist. There are a lot of people who are like, if you stop being fat, you're kind of out the clique. If you stop being mentally ill, you're out the clique.
If you stop being trans,
like social subgroup of commiseration.
Sure. So just to back up for a little bit. So when we talk about social contagion, are we specifically thinking about like diseases or people kind of acting or feeling or thinking like they have diseases, or are we talking about really broadly? Because these are all just like, when you spend time with people, you pick up behaviors and thought patterns from them. That's just human. That's just Homo sapiens, right?
Culture.
Yeah.
I think it's.
Well, I think that culture is a degree. I think that that's still viably social contagion.
Okay, so yeah. So that's what I want to see, where we're drawing the line in terms of, so like there's a particular form of social contagion maybe that happens on TikTok, but social contagion is just generally the phenomenon of being around people and picking up. I'm sure that there might be people that disagree, like have like specific definitions, but we can use that going forward and like acknowledge like what we're saying. Okay.
What do you guys say, Tuna?
There is actually, funny enough, I have a YouTube short that tries to describe social contagion. So if we want to go so meta with it, I saw one earlier, and one of the main theories inside of it, here, let's see.
5 people you hang out with most. really have a direct influence in your life. In fact, it's said that the 5 people you hang out with most, the average money they make, the money they make, you average that, that's pretty much the money you're going to make too. Why? Because there's something called social contagion, which means it kind of gets contagious, not the money, but the thinking. So in terms of giving yourself more support for reaching goals that matter to you, you might want to travel the world. You might want to make a difference.
Isn't it so funny that the popping sound effect is just like the ticks that the motherfuckers have? I'm just thinking about the popping. It's synchronicitous. But
if your friends aren't talking about stocks,
yeah, this woman's
find
in
new
here.
friends.
She's like dressed up like a therapist and fucking, you know,
Slash
call
broker.
President Sunday type vibes. No,
Therapists do
there's a-
wear like one graphic necklace and a blazer. That is like the therapist outfit.
It is so.
Okay, so
But,
I think it's I would diagnose it as social contagion if it's like dangerous. Like people doing crime, I would call social contagion. People getting like surgeries, developing mental health disorders. Those are what I would call social contagions. And I think that TikTok does literally nothing and is benefits greatly from these types of things spreading like wildfire. That like they become a template, and it's easy to become mentally ill. And it's a great way to catch like it's easy to do crime. You just do it.
Okay,
Go-
Matt.
do drugs.
I gotta roll you back, push you back.
Roll me
it's
up.
easy to become mentally ill.
Yeah, okay. You obviously know about like sort of this idea of like a copycat killer, and then you have like these trends like the ice bucket challenge, and like determining it by like danger seems so stupid because danger is a thing of intensity for some things, and it's a thing of immediacy for others. Like, I agree with you that TikTok is designed, if not intentionally, at least it's just like happenstantially around things going too far. That's a huge part of it. And the way that I've thought about it is that it's both a means of financial success and a means of social success. So the people that really, really want to compete with the people who have financial backing are willing to put their entire life on the line. You have to be willing to do something legitimately dangerous to keep up with the fact that there are filmmakers that are making short films on TikTok that have the budget to pretend that they're doing something really, really dangerous. You need to go into the Walgreens with a gun. You need to look the cashier in the face and say, "Give me all the condoms." You need to do something crazy that instantly gets attention.
Arson's so good.
Arson's so good. That's really good. So you get like what? That fucking that trend. When you guys were talking about like a crime wave trend, the first thing I thought was, can I say something without everybody freaking out? The videos of people in their car driving past white neighborhoods, pointing a gun at suburban houses and just pulling the trigger continually. Just doing a drive-by on TikTok. It didn't happen too many times, but only one person's been arrested for it so far. I've seen
like,
at least
like
5
actually
instances.
firing or like
Actual
mimicking?
bullets.
Actually,
Somebody got clipped.
that's
I'm not sure if
insane.
they fucking died. I didn't check up in a week to see whether or not that person survived the injury. But people are getting clipped with fucking bullets from like a trend about like irreverently pulling off a gun and pointing it at a bunch of like rich people's houses. And you know, it's fun in the comments to be like, "Yes, queen," you know, go off on the whoa. Lav had to go check on her friends to see whether or not they got shot by a drive-by. It's like this thing where like some of like the more communist people will make their argument. Some of the people will be like, "This isn't happening." The whole fact that there is a cube in your pocket that convinces children to do the things that other people do, and everybody wants to do the most outrageous thing possible so that they're the trend influencer, is a mechanical like lilt towards controversy. You're gonna pull a gun trigger. You're gonna fucking you're going to take the most private thing of your entire life and make it public.
So
in the case of the transition
Well,
shit.
hold on. Wait. Not to add on to that last statement, to make the most private thing to make it public, you can also invent a private thing and make it public. And I
Sure.
think that's where like mental illnesses and stuff come in, anorexia or something. Like
If you don't have an interesting private thing, just make one up.
Well, yeah, and the thing about young people and teenagers is none of them have interesting private things. They're all really boring, and like they have like,
No, I don't think that's true.
they don't have
Unless
anything.
your name's like
most
Phineas.
teenagers, most teenagers are pretty fucking boring.
Yeah, it takes a while to develop like something interesting, you know.
I think they're interesting to each other. Maybe they're trying to mimic something that's interesting.
Do you think
more
that it's a
broadly.
coincidence? Do you think that it's a coincidence that the name that all of like the sort of like Floridian art crew people will name their children are also all the names that people will choose if they like can change their identity online? They want to be cool in a way that is like very engineered by money. They're replicating it. I don't think that they're actually cool. Do you get what I'm saying?
When I
Not
was a
quite.
teenager,
No, idiot.
Yeah, nobody ever knows what the fuck you're saying. You say everything so fucking weird.
Okay, okay.
Wait. I want to say something similar.
You know, in high school,
let me try it. Let me try it. Give me a turn.
Legitimately, like poor and boring, and they just wanted to wear Hot Topic and trip pants and shit.
Yeah.
That on the social level, people are creating online personas that are
Yeah.
pairs of trip pants that are Shein.
Sure.
It's all about like copying what other people have. You wish you
Okay.
had, but now it's like a little bit more affordable because you can fake it with the phone. You can edit.
Okay, I got another. So when I was a teenager, I was like I listened to Linkin Park for a long time, and way back in the day, I was like, if I was gonna write a song, this is how it would sound. The lyrics sound like if I try to write a song, they sound like Linkin Park lyrics. And then as I got older, I realized the lyrics are incredibly vacuous and they could mean like anything. And I think that's good. Just in a lot of ways, but. I feel like so being a teenager and trying to write a song, I have nothing to say. So what I'm going to say is going to be vacuous and could apply to anything. And if you give me the Linkin Park formula, my music that I'm writing as a teenager is going to sound like Linkin Park if I have nothing to say. I had nothing to say. So I think that your TikTok is giving kids the template to like impress themselves upon. The actual technical term I think would divert to, I'm seeing everywhere, like the way I'm thinking about things lately, is enmeshment. And I think cultural enmeshment, like enmeshment is the opposite of self-differentiation, which happens as you get older. You learn, like, so your mom is mad at you for wearing a certain type of shirt. If you're not self-differentiated, you feel embarrassed and upset that you're wearing a shirt she doesn't like. And all other side of the coin could be that you are angry and you want to tell everybody to wear that shirt because you're still not differentiated. You're reacting like extreme in the other direction. A self-differentiated person is able to hold the mom and hold yourself. We are different people. You feel that way. I feel this way. We are not the same. But I think that people, through especially TikTok, are becoming culturally enmeshed where their feelings are now dependent and like their counterpart is TikTok. So
there's So I need to. I mean, this is why you brought me on, Smith, to kind of reality check on some stuff. So I think I'm the boom. I'm definitely the boomerist. I have the last contact with TikTok. I might be the oldest. I'm not sure, but I feel like you guys are super dismissive of like the inner lives of young people. First of all, it's like maybe the level of ability to put thoughts together in a coherent manner is lower young people, but it's like young people are going through all kinds of fucking shit. Like there's at least at an emotional level, there's so much going on there. To say that that's not interesting, I think is absurd. And then just on a stats level, so this question of like, okay, wow, TikTok, it's getting all these people to shoot at houses. It's probable that the certain forms that extreme behavior are taking are likely influenced by what people are seeing. But if you're some person who probably doesn't have, your head together, your life together in a certain way, like I'm unlikely to watch TikTok and start driving around shooting at houses. I'm saying that legally speaking. It wasn't me. Okay, that's what I'm saying. But if somebody's going to do some extreme stuff like that, like, are they going to put it up on YouTube? Are they going to put it on a Facebook video? Maybe they'll put it on TikTok. Maybe TikTok is like a good forum, like a good medium to put that kind of behavior on. So it's not just that it gets people to do extreme things. Maybe people are going to do extreme things. Maybe they're going to do it there.
I think you're, in general, yeah, but I think that you're delusional if you're gonna like totally deny the competition that happens between people who their sense of self is dependent, or what they want to be is dependent on them being in competition with companies, with brands.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that every kid wants to be a YouTuber should be pretty good evidence that, yeah, they are in social competition for their sense of self and for their future with people that already have tens of thousands, if not millions of dollars behind them. So like,
it's like terrorism or something. You have like a state with lots of resources versus people with nothing to lose. It's like
yeah, and teenagers are ISIS.
Yeah.
And they'll do anything, man.
They must be stopped.
I want to push back on the teenagers in uninteresting thing, okay? Even though that's so stupid thing to push back on. But okay, I think, of course, everyone is interesting. But teenagers don't have a wealth of experience to draw from. And they've only really... so, like, I'm 29, and I've been, like, 20 people. But, like, I've been, like, 4 people. But, like, gradients of... Like, I've been a lot of different people. And I've dipped my toe in a lot of different things. So, and each... time I change in a way, I am able to articulate and express all the other things a lot more. And I think that if your only point of reference is being one thing, because you're still discovering who you are as a teenager, so you only have one like voice right now, and your ability to express that voice is very, and also you're having similar experiences to a lot of people around you too. So like if you're in a high school, your voice is going to be similar to everyone else in that high school. So I that's why I think, I just think that creatively, it takes a while to get a creative voice, and like some teenagers have it, and they're great, you know.
You're touching on something that I think is important when we're thinking about like the relationship TikTok has towards trend, because the more that you share a social sphere like that school or your friend group, the more that you're going to have the same thoughts, the same ideas. TikTok is,
or a shared language at least.
TikTok is surrendering the boundaries and the maintaining of the boundaries of the social order onto a company that gets to choose the lines, either algorithmically or by choice. They get to say what is going to be pushed in the algorithm, what's not going to be, what's going to be fed to what people, and what's not is not going to be. It's like if you were at a school, that responsibility was put into the school faculty, and then that faculty was beholden to the parents. TikTok doesn't have that. It's not even beholden necessarily to the state, considering capitalism is meshing the interests of multiple state bodies together.
It's worse than that. This is the main reason that I wanted to talk here. But I think that this is just like, it's so obvious. But this is conspiratorial. But it's so like TikTok. China has a different version of TikTok that they use for their population. It doesn't even have the portrait oriented like view of videos. It's actually like landscape. It's like, it's just like
oh my god, I'm gonna move to China. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. But like, so like China has like an incentive like to its people not to like fuck them up with TikTok. And if it's a conspiracy to fuck up other countries, or it's just a complete disregard for the well-being of the people that use their product because they just want to make a lot of money, like regardless of why it is that way, I think it's an incredibly irresponsible product. And
so I want to comment on that. So if it's different and they're doing things that I'm sure they at least believe or have some kind of like ideological view of how things should be. So there's lots of things. So like lots of video games now have like a bloodless mode or something. Like I play like RPGs or whatever. They have a bloodless mode so that they can be sold in China. No, in China. In China, you need like there's subtle changes, like you can't show skulls or blood or certain things.
You have to censor the penis with like little weird bars in pornography that's produced there. A lot of, I think it might even be a law that you can't even sell pornography that isn't censored on the genitalia.
I think that was just Japan, but anyway, we can get into it.
It doesn't matter. Keep going.
But there's if you think that they might be trying to fuck over other places, or they might be fucking over other places and protecting themselves, then you have to basically bite the bullet that the CCP is like actually just really good at taking care of the well-being of their people. It's one thing to censor in a way that they think is like this is kind of our ideology. And they clearly are doing that, I guess, with TikTok. But do you think that that's like
Okay.
I don't think that you have to
like actually true, or
Well, actually,
you don't have to wholesale. You just have to think that company is.
I'm consistent in this regard. When we were waiting for vaccines for COVID and stuff, I was eagerly awaiting the Chinese vaccine because the body making the vaccine was completely like they're completely beholden to the Chinese people. Like there was a relationship there where like I'm more skeptical of like big companies, and so I was like I took Moderna, but like I would have, if I had the option to have taken the Chinese vaccine, I would have jumped on that one, and they didn't make it and then never finished it, but I would have wanted that one.
I mean, okay, so that's a good place to me as your whatever conspiracy support animal.
Yes.
Yeah, like why?
Why?
So yeah.
Okay, so the
I feel like China's more transparent about their like political system or their companies.
like governments, like, so the difference between a government and a company is a government is beholden to the people, and a company is beholden to money, and like having healthy citizens is like beneficial to your country, especially China. Like their power comes from having a massive amount of healthy workers to make like shit. So they have no incentive to harm their population. That they have incentive to control their minds and shit. But
so governments are responsive to their people and are basically like led by their people, but not all governments, right? Some governments aren't, surely.
Sure.
Japan has a clear example issue where Japan has been like going out of its way to retain its current power structure. I mean, Russia is the most obvious. We're not going to even go into that too much, though. I don't want to go into Russia for ages. But like, I also think that I just want to push yours though, Sak. Like the same thing that you said there. You don't have to believe that China is good at wholesale at taking care of their people in order to think that they don't want. When I see China not pushing TikTok the same way in their own country, I see them legislating it and then making those changes on the global level, the first thing I think is, yeah, it's not their job. China is two things. In this instance, they are the country where TikTok is located, and then secondarily, they are also a government for their people.
Yeah.
To America, China is only that former. It's just a location where it's being sent. If we're not willing to take care of our people, why should they take care of our people? Mm-hmm. I mean, the only thing that you could ever explain it with is that you believe that long-term a healthy United States economy is good for China. I don't think that's true. I think that China is kind of operating really well. The fact that all of our people are fat, lazy, and want to do tech jobs, but some of us are not smart enough for it, want to do service jobs, but it doesn't pay enough for their rent. Like a lot of these things push the really, really cheap shipment economy that China's been thriving off for a while. It's actually kind of good to keep Americans like ADHD and fucked up in the head if you had a choice in the matter. I just don't even think that it's an active choice. I think it's just like that is what our economy and our laws and our protections create for us by natural byproduct.
Okay,
We don't care about ourselves.
So here's the thing. Do you mind? Okay.
Sure.
So you are Mark Zuckerberg, okay, and you're making Facebook or whatever. And like, I don't know if he has kids, but like, say you have kids, and you know that your kid's gonna be using Facebook. That's a big deal. I think like if he was making Facebook for other countries, and then it made a different one for United States, like that, like I would want to use the one for the country that he's in. You know, it just. Yeah.
Okay. So I wanna not be so obtuse to like try to seem like I don't know what you're saying. I get what you're saying. There's a logic there. I just think it's a little bit tenuous. So it's like, so there's some examples. So, some country exports beer and the exported version is really shitty. If you get it in country, it's great. Heineken is an example. I went to Amsterdam, had Heineken like at a bar there, and it's like, wow, this is amazing. But it's like the Heineken bottle that you get here is terrible, right? Sure, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they're exporting a shitty version. It's not as good. The reason I was saying like CCP versus like just TikTok, the company, is there's probably a lot of enmeshment. A company that big, like the government like involvement is probably quite high there. So I don't know how much. So basically there's a distinction I was making between, so like the censorship, right? The censorship on, I don't know, Diablo 4 or something, maybe. I assume there's some censorship in China. Is it like a better product with that being censored? Is that like healthier for us? I don't think
No.
so. I think it's just kind of an ideological viewpoint. So I just want to make that distinction between
Well, there's two
an
things.
ideological viewpoint and something that's like empirically better.
Well, yeah, well, they have values, and okay, so the Chinese government wants to control the thoughts of the people, and they don't have like respect for like freedom of speech and shit like that. But that is different from wanting to make a product that doesn't hurt your neighbors and your family. You know what I mean?
Yes. So what you're saying makes sense. There's just like a bunch of gaps between there. Like that's a possible explanation. It's just
Okay.
It just needs to be like filled in somehow.
Smith, I think that if you take your perspective on China and you try and like get in their head, you have to admit and think to yourself, yeah, freedom of speech is bad for my neighbor. That's a thing that they believe.
Sure, yeah, they believe that, yeah.
That way, while you can say to yourself, freedom of speech is bad for my neighbor, so I don't think that they think that freedom of speech is bad for all people. I think that they might think that it's bad for their neighbor. So like you can simultaneously, I know this is crazy, you can believe that Americans and Chinese people are so different that they need a different website for their different set of self-interests. Americans might actually be better with because they were raised with it. They're better with a mixture of free speech, but also being like constantly advertised to, than say China, which might operate better. And the business might even operate better in terms of doing what it wants to do and just get used more. Might operate better just on the principle of like, hey, fewer ads, less Mr. Beast pilled experience as you're going through it. It's not so bombastic, not as many sound effects, and it is in portrait. The portrait mode gets switched to landscape. Like stuff like that makes it more like YouTube. You guys have seen like the videos about how China has a completely different social media history than us, right? And like how all their websites kind of look to us archaic, but they just fit the needs and desires of those people better.
And they're probably government controlled in a way that ours aren't. And so they probably to some degree need to be more archaic because there need to be certain
Paperwork.
like
Yeah.
certain backdoors kind of built in there.
Seven people need to pull a switch at the same time in order
That
to make it
sounds like
so
a
that
great
children
way to
dance.
make jobs. They're probably never going to lose those jobs. That's awesome.
Smith, I wanted to ask you really quick. If you moved to Japan, China, or any of these places, and all of the websites were massively different and all the children lived in a different way, would you think that those children are healthier, happier? Because you're usually a person that's like really freedom pilled. You really do like the idea of like free speech and people being free. But this is an instance where it's kind of a contradiction with how I see your thoughts about it a lot. You think that this is like too much. Like where
No,
how do you
I think that they have different values, but I think that they have an incentive to protect their neighbors. Like I said, like so, like I guess like that doesn't prove that they are making the app for China differently because they want to protect their community. It could be like a lot of different things. So
well, wait. So that's a perfect perfect encapsulation. So they're doing it to protect China and the Chinese people as with their understanding of what it means to protect people. But their version of protection includes a great firewall, includes not being able to Google.
Okay, here's the
Tiananmen
thing.
Square
Okay,
or whatever,
okay, here's
right?
the thing. Okay,
That's their version of protection.
So their version of protecting the people would look like shitty to us, but they are just gonna not protect us at all and be as in like irresponsible as they could ever want to be outside of China. And I would rather have the app that they're using because at least they are trying to protect people.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, so full transparency, I think most social media is probably pretty detrimental, like mental health wise overall.
Yes.
And the shittier these apps are, the better. So anything that makes their UI worse is probably like gonna raise people's like mental health.
Yeah, the slower you can scroll, the better your.
The laggier they are, the better people are. People are off. Yeah.
Femoid, what do you fucking think about China? It seems like you don't.
Yeah, talk about China.
Yeah.
What do I think about China?
Okay, never mind.
Cool
Which era of
place.
China is your favorite?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm getting a little lost in the conversation. The conversation became about something different, and then I was getting into the meditative process of painting my nails, so I wasn't listening.
Did you eat your potato?
Blissed
I
out.
sure did.
Did you eat the meat?
Yeah, I ate the meat.
Yeah.
Oh, no, of course not. I scraped
Traitor.
it off. I would never eat meat. I would never eat meat.
Even if it's already dead and in front of you?
No, I eat like turkey and chicken, but I do not eat pig or cow.
Okay.
That's too sad.
That's fair.
Are you yourself? Now this is kind of stupid. I don't know if this is gonna just make everything stupid. Are you Femoid, Lavloon, a social contagion?
Victim?
Sure.
Victim. Yeah, victim.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in some ways, maybe more pronounced when I was like 14 and in the eating disorder and self-harm forums. I think, to some degree with feminism, right? Like that's how I have access to like all the things that I have. I'm like N-word is okay pilled now because of who I've been around. I don't know. Like there's a lot of ways I think there's a lot of ways in which you can't avoid social contagion. Like what we were talking about earlier, like some of it is just like human nature, like monkey see, monkey do. I think when it becomes, I think social contagion can also be a positive thing. But when we're talking about things that are hurting children, that's when we should probably step in. Otherwise, social contagion is sort of its own little thing. It's kind of neutral.
You think it's neutral? Well,
To address the elephant in the procedure. What percentage of medical transitions, specifically genital or top surgery, the ones that are like the most invasive surgery, what percentage of them do you think are actually happening as a produced effect of social contagion versus just now people know that that's a thing that they can do with a desire they always had?
Okay, I would add to that. Oh, hold on. Add to that. Just all cosmetic surgery, which is booming, and it's gonna keep going up.
BBLs, yeah, BBLs are a huge
Yeah, that's a transracial procedure.
You're so stupid.
It's true.
You're so dumb.
Okay.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I think at least we see with females, with AFAB, transgender individuals, it's gone up by what, 210% is the official number, something like that.
210.
Yeah, 210%. I think we've seen an uptick in females who are going to go get gender affirming care, whatever.
It's
the fuck
not
that
slowing.
means.
It's exponential right now.
Yeah, so it keeps growing, and we see more detransitioners coming out every single day saying that, it was a social contagion for them. So I think that, I with women, I amongst females, I also think that we know that social contagion also affects females more than it affects males.
Yeah.
This is just true. This is true across the board.
I think it's like I need to look up stats, but I think that gap is like I don't know if it's closing like at the exponential level or if it's closing like overall, but in terms of like eating disorders among men have skyrocketed. Like it's getting to more parity to some degree.
Yeah.
The ones we care about seem
They're
to
both going
affect,
up.
the ones we care about seem to affect females more, but I've got some theories about like social contagion with like autism, because it seems to be a dormant quality that all people have. We don't really think about the uptick in diagnoses of neurodiversity in this way, but I think that we're eventually going to be getting there, where we're talking about this type of stimulus itself physically spreading in terms of popularity is increasing that. Like I think it's the same thing personally, but you don't fake being ADHD, but you probably do get your ADHD-ness like pushed by the nature of keeping up with the social trend on TikTok.
Well, just using social media more probably exacerbates
Yeah, that's what I was.
because it's
that's what I
lowering
was
your
gonna say.
attention span, ability to focus, which
The
makes
fastest
Yeah.
I can say
form
definitely
of
makes
it.
It's not the social contagion of autism that is contagious. It is just the autism that is contagious.
It's the systemic or mechanical. Yeah. It's not social.
Well,
But
yeah,
it's
So,
happening
yeah,
if you're
the same thing.
if you're
like it doesn't
slightly
matter
on-
what's on the TikTok, just TikTok itself, I think probably makes ADHD worse. Like,
Yeah.
probably a lot
Yeah.
worse. Yeah. I don't know about autism specifically.
It's the,
I would need
Well,
to
it
know
could-
more
okay,
about that.
user
It could be-
experience.
it could be that we are sort of sorting ourselves into groups that are like brandable or marketable like on social media and stuff.
Choose
And
your
so
fighter.
there is so if you are you have a proclivity to some autistic behaviors, you can like fall into that now, and
You
that
make it
becomes
TM.
like yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also after
happened.
COVID, we all had less social practice. So after COVID, it makes sense that there's gonna be a time period in which people are like, "Whoa, I don't know how to do this anymore. Something
Mhm.
is wrong with me."
Yeah.
Plus, everybody just got all those vaccines. I'm just
Yeah,
sorry.
exactly. From China. China's making us autistic.
So magnetic.
Bro, I'm currently inside of the Capitol building, and there's just mechanical keyboards everywhere. It's literally happening. It's on purpose. I think that so social media, Web 2.0, then the entire idea is about like the autonomous production of like marketing profiles, psychotropic profiles, whatever you want to call them. People are like self-sorting, they're creating market data. You go to the Twitter, if you're a person that likes watching videos of people beat the shit out of each other, you're probably gonna love this blowjob toy. It's like always inside the replies. All of these social things are like about creating a market by assembling desires together, and then that person is a big cluster of attention. They sell it there. Is it doing anything new though with TikTok? Because on TikTok, people aren't actually selling nearly as much stuff as previous forms or like slower forms of social media.
Right,
You have
and
less
it's
time
like-
to, it feels like.
You can make way less, like people that stream on TikTok make way less money than streaming on anything else too.
Because there's so many more people streaming, right? Everybody's streaming.
The currency is just attention, and it's like the reward is attention. So I think that it's very different in that regard. Like early Instagram was interesting. I think early Instagram was like one of the best instances of social media we ever had, because on early Instagram you could post. Posting is what got you followers, and you could like just do your thing, and like doing your thing worked. But I don't think that that's what's happening on TikTok.
You're describing it's like it's Pinterest, but like I don't think that people are very original on Instagram. Just like they weren't original on Tumblr. It's a lot of signaling mimicry. Even on Instagram, early Instagram.
Instagram, like all the biggest accounts are just people reposting other shit.
And I'm talking
it's
old
different
style.
now. Okay, old Instagram, the unique thing about old Instagram, not anymore, it's completely not like this anymore, but it used to be your Instagram timeline was completely chronological. So you post at a good hour and people see it. Like, so your visibility was not changed by any algorithm. It was just completely, if I post right now and I post something good, people will see it.
It was a literal actual timeline.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was cool. I thought that's gone.
So getting back to that kind of elephant in the room around let's say gender and like neurodiversity. I think these are two things where we're seeing a kind of confluence of these social trends, social contagion, maybe whatever, kind of hitting and starting to break through this dam of like these I don't want to say totally arbitrary, but these kind of like these conceptions of gender and whatever neurodiversity, right? Because being neurodivergent in a really particular way of being like autistic or ADHD are kind of specific things, but everybody's brain is kind of different. Everybody's identity and personality is kind of different. There's diversity in humanity in general, and as we're getting lots and lots more, so it's like, okay, let me put it this way. If we have like ADHD or autism as a diagnosis, getting more broadly understood and talked about, and then specific symptoms. Hey, do you feel this particular way in a social situation? Hey, do you not really make eye contact? There's lots of reasons somebody might not make eye contact. They might be autistic, they might be socially anxious. And so giving people, hey, here's like a reason that you feel this way. Lots of people could definitely feel a good reason to be like, oh, cool, that's me. Now I understand, I'm not just weird, I'm part of this thing. And because everybody is like kind of neurodivergent from each other in some way, some of these symptoms are going to line up to something for almost everybody.
Yeah. This is like an effect. I don't know if this is exactly social contagion, but it's like it's interconnected. I think that this is something that preys on people's insecurities and their weaknesses, and so like whatever problems that you have in your life, seeing other people talk about those problems and, oh, it's actually this. I have ADHD. I'm actually trans. I'm actually like whatever, and it's like everybody's trying to escape like just the horrors of their own reality and their horrors of their own existence. And that in social media, like you're trying to make yourself as perfect as possible constantly. All right.
As perfect as possible. Is that true?
Yeah. So like so
as perfectly fitting with something, maybe. I don't know. You're trying to stand out, right?
Sure. Useful. Yeah. But I mean, like so you use like a face filter.
You need to be of the moment. That used to be the thing. That was mid Instagram. I think TikTok. You're speaking millennial right now. Zoomers. It's not about sharing the best part of yourself. It is
not sharing the worst.
Okay, no, shut up. You're wrong. No, it's still about starting. It's still about showing the best part of yourself, but there's a post-ironic best part of yourself. So showing the worst part of yourself, showing the worst part of yourself is showing the best part of yourself. Because
but that video you sent us of the you sent me in the DM of the black guy in the like practically destroyed house clearly should be spending some time fixing the door of his fridge.
It's a really cool video.
I'm bringing it up because the whole point of that video is he is self-aware of how disgusting the way that he lives is, so
and
he's playing it up.
Yeah.
So it's a weird
he makes
thing
chicken in his filthy house.
He's both he's making fried chicken in his filthy fucking rundown house. There's like a
diaper that he scrapes off of the table, and then he puts the chicken on top of the table. Like, so I don't even know how real it is.
Yeah, we're gonna explain the background of the video, but the point I'm saying is it's the worst part of himself. But the fact that he's willing to share it and the fact that he knows how gross it is almost exempts the worst part of himself, turns it into the most useful, most unique part of himself. I think that me and you are getting in an aesthetic disagreement. It means the same thing.
It's like women sharing their period blood. I'm trying to rope femoid in here.
Mia's part about herself is that she is a loud woman that used to do sex work but now hates sex work. Like that's
the worst. That is the worst thing about her.
Well, no, there's all okay. We can talk about whatever everybody else wants to talk about with her, but that's the thing that is the most marketable because it's right there in the middle. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people want her to be doing it in the public so that they can be in the comments, like vicariously enjoying the fact that she's at the the front of the lines in the culture
and it's
war
the crossing
conversation.
back and forth, right?
And other people want to throw spears at her head. Yeah, exactly.
Rage baiting, it works.
It works.
It works.
I talked to with Sock about this yesterday, and it kind of came up what he was saying before. I think TikTok is working so well right now, and I think that the unspoken thing about TikTok is we don't care about TikTok, the app, nearly as much as we talk about like the stage of life that TikTok represents. All the users seem to be in the midst of adolescence and that slow transition from children to adult, that individuation process where there are two extremely contradictory drives that TikTok gives you an opportunity to satisfy at the same time. There's the idea that you need to conform, you need to be normal, you need to be, in with it, hip, but also simultaneously you need to be an individual that has something unique about them, something that makes you stand apart. Trends that you can like do your spin on, that's the perfect form of dual functional media. If I was to make like a Twitter post that was like meaningful to me as an adult, it would be meaningful to almost nobody. If you were to do it as a child, it would probably be pretty boring, but that's the most interesting period of time for people. Right there when you're a teen, you're the most contradictory. You're the most weird and underdeveloped, and emotional. You get to watch all the
you like underdeveloped teens, don't you?
You are the underdeveloped teen in the room. Do we want to talk about that?
What?
Well, no, okay.
Me.
It's because Tuna always talks in these like strings of big metaphors. So it's like it honestly you have like such beautiful things to say, but like it's you speak. You have to really pay attention to when you're listening to you speak. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm not gonna cut. I talk without thinking about. I don't know how to talk.
You guys
the way
gotta get off TikTok. You gotta watch long form media, read a book.
Yeah.
I cannot read.
No, but Leah, no, you like your personality and your position inside of that is a sort of prolonged adolescence. Like you're growing in your real life, but you don't share all of those details of your growth. Like your entire persona is sort of a prolonged adolescence. Most social media people are. There's only so much growth you can do before you lose your brand.
Oh, okay, hold on.
I guess that's true. No, I think that's true. Because in the last 2 years, especially after I had like a serious relationship with my partner, I am just like a different person. My life is more like there's less happening in my life. I got famous on TikTok off of talking about like the guys that I fucked, like, and how brutal it was, and how like I was so unhappy, and it was sort of like war storying with like all these other women. And then I got into like a happy relationship, and I was like, fuck, like my content is cooked. Like
fuck now.
Yeah, like I really like I really like I don't have much to say now. Yeah, like I don't have much to say now. I can pivot, and I've thought a lot about this. Like now I'm gonna have to pivot to like mommy content, and like when I have kids. Like can you imagine like me
your ability
as
to
like
see that.
as like a TikTok mom.
You know what you're gonna do is you're gonna become your greatest enemy. That fucking trans milky mommy, same video but you. Same video, but you, and then it's.
Dude, I'd rather fucking die. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pivot to like trailer park mom. Like that's gonna be me. I'm gonna be like trailer park mom.
But like your ability, the fact that you're aware, the fact that you're aware of the pivot is different. I don't think most people are aware of that. I think that like a lot of people. Will slot themselves into unhealthy relationships because it's what they see all the time.
You see that with artists, especially like I'm obviously as a songwriter, I know like a lot of other songwriters, I will see people purposely put themselves in unhappy relationships because it gives them like better fuel for like the music. It is insane.
When I was a teenager,
I think their inspiration comes from torment.
Yeah, when I was a teenager, I would tell people I want to be homeless, and I would say shit like that. I think that kids, I felt like I was very mentally well adjusted for a period of time, and I was like, I hate this. I need to be more mentally ill. Like I actually consciously thought that when I was like 19 years old.
There's also like a thing going on with there's a thing going on with like social groups of commiseration where you need to have something to complain about. I think a lot of women have to think about some part of their life being worth complaining about, because if you don't have something to complain about when you get to that, you know, when you're all having lunch together, you are permanently benched. You are a support role.
No, this is like
everyone else will have their turn.
No, that's like
why it spreads with women.
Totally true. Like that's why dude, it is really hard to be friends with women. It is really hard to be friends with women for this reason. Like in particular, I think it also, well, there's also the competition between women, right? So when your life starts to get good, then it's like everyone's mad at you because your life is good. So there's like a bunch of women are crazy. This is actually a women hating panel.
What's going bad in your life, Betty? Let's go ahead. Oh, and if you don't have anything to say,
your husband's beating you.
So
That's great.
So many of my female friendships have started with some sort of trauma or like thing to solve through with them, like some drama, gossip, something.
Yeah, because you
I don't think I've met one friend that's female not that way. Actually, not even one.
You define yourself as a person going through and being underappreciated, being I'm dating all these losers. And it
when
makes
is it
for
going to
good
be my turn?
conversation.
Yeah.
Guys,
it's great conversation.
Guys, for what people will say, oh, guys don't talk about their emotions enough. We're free. We get to make every once in a while. We get to make good decisions that are just for us because we don't have any.
You get to make friends that you like. You get to make friends that you like.
Or we know how.
Yeah,
we know how.
Also, that friends that men seem to have almost no friends, and women have all these friends on the books.
Yeah.
Those stats are fucked by the fact that women have such low standards for friendship.
Yeah,
it's pretty brutal.
Women are in the reactive role, so the reason they're always complaining, like like a bitch and Stitch, this is what you're like describing.
Women be complaining,
like it's because they're like supposed to be reacting to everything that's happening to them and not actually supposed to be doing something themselves, because they're like the women are the support role and everything. So I think that if you want to like hate women, I mean you still go, every single one of these gender things goes full circle. It's a dynamic. So when you're hating on women, what you're really saying is I fucking hate how men make women, and when you're hating on men, you're actually saying I hate how women make men act. It's like it's always going full circle. We're always everything we are as gender is being done to us by the other gender. That's what I think.
Oh, kind of.
I don't know. I just want to meet more women to play Baldur's Gate with. I would like one woman, please.
Is it good?
I'd like one woman. It is addicting. Yeah.
It's more addicting than TikTok.
Oh, definitely. I lost 9 hours yesterday. I lost 9 hours yesterday of my life. Probably more.
Okay, Social Contagion, the game, the one where you go in your neighbor's house. What is that called? Hello Neighbor. Hello what? Neighbor. Okay, listen to me.
Wait,
Hello
is this
Neighbor.
A video game or for the least popular, stupidest game of all time. Keep going.
No. Hello Neighbor.
We want to hear it.
Okay, Hello Neighbor is so popular. Fuck you. Hello Neighbor is so popular that it's like it's now like it's on the Nintendo Switch. I saw it like 3 months ago when I went into Walmart. It was in Walmart in the Switch section, like in like its own like spot. It's one of the worst games ever made. But it appeals and is marketed to like kids, like little kids, and they like little kids can play video games that absolutely suck, and they think it's good. And in that way, it like they are susceptible to social contagion, like shit that sucks. They'll just absorb it.
Wait, I don't.
You're talking about so chat. You might not know this game. Let me just say what he's describing as social contagion. It is a digital game of hide and seek, and he's confused that children are giving it a like 9 out of 10.
You are wrong. No, it's not a digital game of hide and seek.
What am I missing, sir?
Okay, it is a game. Okay, it is an incredibly horrible and janky and broken puzzle game that makes no sense, and you're playing hide and seek while you're doing these puzzles, and the puzzles are so bad that like the way you solve them can be confused with glitching the game or breaking it. Like you have to stack objects to like climb on something, and you're like you would only do that because you think you're being cheeky and trying to break and mess with the game. Yeah, it's like playing like Gary's mod. Like it's like that level of like broken gameplay. And it's got the hide and seek feature is the marketing like for it, but that's actually not what the game is. It's a horrible puzzle game.
Just get a refund on Steam or whatever.
Okay, I'm saying that the reason it got popular because I'm the thing you're arguing with me about, I guess, for whatever fucking reason. You're saying it's a good game or something. I'm saying it's a horrible game, and the only reason it caught on is social contagion. I don't know. Maybe we're mixing. Maybe I'm muddying the waters of what social contagion even is. But what I'm trying to point out is that little kids will eat shit up that sucks, and
Sure, yeah.
I think that
They're like Linkin Park. I mean, kids like all kinds
Kids
of
love
things.
Linkin Park. Kids
I
love
love Linkin
watching Smeth on YouTube.
yeah, no,
It's
that's
like
actually not
anything
true.
and I'm even like I'm being a little cheeky, but it's also like, why does live streaming work? Like,
Yeah, yes.
people don't remember watching like Scorsese in a fucking a theater and like going to see The Matrix for the first time. Even that is like down culture too. Culture's moving down, of course.
So it's
There you
moving
are.
down in terms of production value, but it's moving up in terms of sense of connectedness. So when you watch a movie, maybe you feel connected to the characters, but there's no conception that you feel connected to Scorsese, right?
Just like
Unless you're-
OnlyFans.
Yeah, exactly, right. So OnlyFans is like the social version of
porn.
whatever, right? So
Yeah.
porn, it's like it was filmed, and then you're watching it. There's no conception that
You're not
there's nothing very
actually
social.
you're not actually violating the woman when you look at porn. Like you when you do OnlyFans, you're actually kind of contributing
Oh, okay.
to her
You're saying it the
violation.
other way around. Okay, sure.
Yeah,
That's another social contagion. OnlyFans.
yeah.
Yeah, of course. And also this idea that you can go on your phone and actually look at what we've always known that pussy has a price, that people are willing to pay for it, but it was always like kind of like asking a 5-year-old how much a bag of Coke costs. They wouldn't be able to tell you. Now you ask like a
The
fucking
market can decide.
how
No,
much
totally.
she can get for pictures of her
That's
feet. She
It's really
knows
fucked up.
lickety fucking split. It's a
Yeah,
real
the-
offer
the-
happening.
The amount of people who said that my OnlyFans was too expensive at $25 a month. It's too expensive. Like the amount of people that were like, I'm not gonna pay for this is way overpriced. What? That's fucking crazy. Dude, bitches are selling their pussy for like 99 cents a fucking month.
Yeah.
What the? Have some self-respect.
Or not
Jesus
even that.
Christ.
Not even that. Also just like recognize that like it's a pussy popularity contest. It's about scarcity inside of the market. Like
That's true.
whenever we haven't escaped the same problem of social contagion, which is that contradiction where you need to be doing what everybody else is doing, but you need to be the best at doing it, which means innovating it in controversial ways. The streamer now, she's a streamer now, but her first fucking porn video on her 18th birthday, Sasha Grey licking fucking a public toilet seat. That's kind of like the canary in the coal mine of what happens inside of media when it becomes too accessible.
I
The
got a
more
better
accessible
example.
it is, the more people think of it as a genuine opportunity and route to success. They're going to do the most depraved thing, the most
Island
only
Boys.
I would do that.
Island
kind of-
Boys. The Island Boys. Okay. Like
That
just
is
today.
worse. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, just today I saw like so
Boys do it
first,
better. That's true.
my first reaction was I just thought it was funny because to just say that it was hot. But then I saw an interview and they're talking about how they're not actually gay and they're just doing it for attention. They made the OnlyFans because they know that they could get attention and they don't actually want to have sex with each other. They just want to like make out and they just want to post pictures in their underwear and stuff. And like the
I love
idea
that
of
for
having
them.
the idea of having sex with each other is like freaking them out in this conversation. And I'm thinking the whole time like it's like they're women. Like it's not just women anymore. Like these men are now like everything that bad is happening to women was happening to the Island Boys.
Everyone's female and everyone hates it.
If we're gonna talk about the social contagion thing as like getting into sexuality, how do you guys feel about the whole thing where like
Bisexual women is a social contagion. Being bisexual is like social contagion for sure
being
for women.
Well, defining yourself actively as bisexual despite not ever dating women and always secretly moving towards men. Yeah, that is like a sort of like way of labeling yourself where you're like, oh, but I do think women are unwilling to admit every once in a while that they think sex with women is gross. I've only met like 2 or 3 women that are able to say it. Guys, it's cool to say sex with a dude is gross. Women say that.
Well,
But
I don't know if it's
say that
cool.
sex
It's cool
with
to
women
say
is
like
gross.
it's cool to
Borderline
hint that maybe you
offensive.
would, but I think being straight is social contagion way more than being bisexual.
Okay, no, okay,
100%.
look,
Being
I've
straight
realized
or
something.
gay, yes.
Okay, I realized, like,
Yeah.
as this is going on, I'm like, what the fuck
1000%.
does social contagion even mean anymore? And so, as we're saying this about bisexuality and stuff, I'm realizing that I think that when we're talking about social contagion, we're not actually talking about people. I think it has to do with behavior more than it has to do with actual change. So bisexuality, in the way that we're talking about it, is people like saying that they're bisexual, labeling themselves bisexual. If what I'm saying is true, then a lot of people getting like top surgery, like nothing really changed about them psychologically. They're just doing a thing. The contagion is the behavior, not their actual mind. They're the same person
About how I feel about
that they were. Like the people doing crime, like the people stealing the donuts from Dunkin' Donuts.
Look, I'm not a thief. I'm just doing some crime.
Well, no,
It's
you're
just
a
a
thief.
prank, bro.
You're a thief because thief is defined by the act of doing it. But like you are not like you are doing it. You're the thing that convinced you to do it is the social contagion, the social media. But like without the social media, wouldn't have done it. And like there's no reason you wouldn't have ever. Yeah, I think it's just a behavioral like you could say men having sex with men that naturally would be less attracted to men, but you like it's the same thing with like women having sex with women. Should probably be back, but like like
Okay,
women having sex with women is totally gay.
Can I try tossing something here? I want to read it. So we're gonna go philosophy bro for like 3 seconds and then pull back out. Wittgenstein talks about this idea that people can only do things that they can understand linguistically, which is why I think that we're always coming out with new like sexual identity labels. We're coming out with new explanations for behavior where we're calling it a challenge as opposed to calling it a crime. What we're doing is we're actively creating a new way of thinking about the desires that we have and the way that we're trying to actualize them. So like, if anything, the whole idea is that the rules are being rewritten because the way we talk about the thing is being rewritten. So if you're gonna go into a donut shop and I'm filming first person perspective and I run in there and I grab a box and I run out, you're getting my unique visual, filmographic, and then also like literary in the comment section language about that action. You're not getting what the news is going to say later. The news is going to say crime wave, donuts gone everywhere. We're saying to one another, donut challenge. It creates an innocence and it makes it so that they're totally different rules of conduct. I'm like glitching out super hardcore, aren't I? I'm moving slow. Don't worry about me. Keep going.
I initially started this panel because I think that TikTok is really scary. Like I'm starting to become scared of TikTok. I think it's destructive and I think it's going to continue to cause damage to society. That's what I think.
Have you uninstalled TikTok as a result?
No, but I don't use it. But
I think
don't
it should
post-
have. I think you should be like 21 to use social media. I think there should be like an age gate, like porn.
Well, that's another question
well-
because there technically is whatever an 18 plus, but
Yeah, but I think
it's
you should
100%
be, like,
unenforced. It's like probably mostly kids on Pornhub,
yeah.
like watching.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Do you think
'cause
that's
they have the
true?
most time.
Okay.
They have the most time. Yeah, like so it's under like the attention
The unemployed
economy.
and children.
The attention economy
Yeah.
is always
See
mostly
to
driven
employ
by
these
kids.
fucking kids.
That's why if you try to be like interesting or smart online, like you're gonna have to.
I've never tried to be either of those things.
You're gonna have to scream at people if you want to be. You have to appeal to kids if you want to get.
Spooky. Well,
Yep.
I have to dip out. I've given, we've had a long talk. But it was so great to be with you guys. Love you guys so much. I want to kiss all of you.
No, you don't.
Thanks. I do. I would love to kiss every one of you. Okay. See ya, bye.
Subscribe to your OnlyFans.
She's trying to spread hypersexuality as a social contagion, and it's not going to work. Nerds are not going to start fucking just because she wants to.
Nope. Nothing could make us fuck.
Smith?
I don't mean us.
I want you to actually engage with the thing I said instead of saying that you're scared of TikTok.
Okay.
How do you feel about the idea that language and the way that people are talking about things changing is making it so that the things that they are doing or willing to do is changing? Because I think that that's way more influential than anything else here.
Hold on, I'm messing with my thing. You're gonna have to say that.
Yeah, do whatever you need to make it look normal so that it's the bro team. It's three bros.
All right. What do you want?
Okay. You were talking about Contagion, you're talking about TikTok, you're talking about all this fucking shit. I want your opinion, straight from the heart of China. I want your opinion on my perspective that I think that language is actually the thing that's having the most impact. Less TikTok and
what
more.
Do you mean?
Okay, so the same event, the same action, the same literal thing happening in the real world is spoken about a different way from subculture to subculture, and that seems to be the real reason that some people do things and some people don't.
Here's the thing. Okay, yes, but also TikTok. Okay, because when you say language, what you're saying is means of communication. Okay, so the words that we use,
said visual language earlier with my whole
visual.
Okay.
So I think that the language of TikTok, the way that you communicate with TikTok, is you're communicating by speaking directly. It's like you have a tube, and you at the other end of the tube is like into like this like virus box or whatever, and you're like, I know, like you're speaking directly into the. That's not a good metaphor. You're speaking directly into the social contagion, whatever that you are. Like this, the social contagion is part of the language.
Sure.
So,
right?
So I can give like a great example for this, right? So in for all of human history, men have had sex with each other sometimes. And in the 18th century, homosexuality was invented. And it became a thing.
Yeah.
And it became a thing that was like being in an attempt to like control and stop it, basically. And now doing the act made you a particular thing rather than this is just a human behavior that like we could talk about.
Remember, Smith, that tweet I made that you liked that one time? It was where I said, I don't understand why right-wing people started believing that being gay is real. Like, that's like now a thing is to start saying that people are actually gay. It used to be for a while that people were pushing up on the idea that gayness is real, because to say it's real is to say that it's irremovable or something. But there was a really, really long period of time where the behavior would be considered like socially corrupt, but you're not actually gay. You're just doing that because you've been confused or you're following a pattern. That's how we talk about transness now. That's not how we talk about gayness. And I wonder why we're in that stage of acceptance with homosexuality, even on the right wing. But now when we get into the transness thing, and when I come about it, I'm talking about mostly the dressing part, not the surgery part. Why it is that this now has a language. Because it used to just be like, you're a fruity little dude. The language is changing.
Even on the left. Okay, I think that the reason that you have all this language, and I think the reason that it can never go away, this language, is because with gay, there are different ways that you can define gay. But like basically, you're fucking men, you're gay, or you're a woman, you're having sex with a woman, you're gay. Like we can say that you're born gay, or you could say that you're developed it, or whatever reason. But like isolated of cause, just doing the act makes you gay. Okay. What
gay for pay? Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Okay, so
it's
what I'm saying,
stricter for men. It's stricter for men. You know that if you do some gay shit, you're gay. If you're a woman and you do some gay shit, you're a seductress.
Sure. Okay. Sure. But yeah, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that we know what gay is, and the debate on over why it is that way is not important, because being gay is fine. It's like no big deal. Like we don't care if you have sex with.
It's fine now.
For you,
What if it changes?
Go back 10, 20 years.
No,
and-
guys, sure. That's what I'm saying. But we've
and we are
accepted it.
with trans people. It's the same
yes.
thing.
You guys are like unable to comprehend where I'm at here.
I understand what you're
Okay,
saying.
what I'm saying is we have come to a place where we accept that being gay causes no harm. Like we're totally okay with that. But we can't come to that place with trans, because you're actually like doing surgeries like to your body. Like you're there, like being trans and being like mentally unwell and being unhappy are like synonymous.
Do you think it's
not
prep?
Meth,
You
you
think
are
that
really,
prep is what has
really
made this happen?
the importance of language there. Language can influence you to do anything.
okay.
Like,
The minute you start gamifying everything, which is the language that they use on TikTok, that's how you get people to do things. Why do you think like Edward Bernays was so competent at like being a propagandist? Like, you can move whole countries just with words. Like you're really downplaying the aspects of language.
Me?
The minute you turn, the minute you're like,
How?
oh, like they can't go. It's not going to force somebody to go get surgeries or something. But the minute they start seeing and hearing about how it's like this hip new thing, and it starts being demedicalized and thrown around all over TikTok, and it starts being like, oh, chest surgery tattoo challenge. It
Yeah.
stops becoming a medical issue and starts becoming a challenge, which is then a gamification of the social
I mean,
phenomena.
I agree. Like I wasn't disagreeing with that. I was just saying that the reason that we're still having this language battle over trans things is because trans fundamentally cannot settle on just, oh, you're trans, no big deal. It's always going to be a big deal. There's
There's always going to be bad apples that are pushing shit.
You're
for
out of
that.
touch, man. I love you, man, but there are people that absolutely think that being gay is not a choice. That and then there are some people that think that being gay is absolutely a choice.
Well,
There are people that do those
but that's
therapies.
not what I'm saying. I'm
So
saying
there's
both of those.
There's a disagreement, though. There's a disagreement in the
Yeah, but-
culture that mirrors the disagreement that's happening about transness. The language that both parties use, propose a cause, propose a solution. That's what the language that we're using is about. Why do you
Right.
think
Right,
that
and so-
language
so-
is moving at a
so-
different pace?
So the proposing a cause, that this is why, like, I don't think that you're born gay, but I don't think that makes it wrong to be gay. Like, I think you develop into it. That's the way I think it makes sense. I don't prescribe to the gay uncle theory. It doesn't make sense to me, but it doesn't matter to me either way. I don't care either way. And when you use the language of a certain cause, people assume a certain prescription because the language that you're using, you're buying into the camp of this is the language is the prescription, and that's not the case with me thinking that it might not be you're born with it. So that's where
because you think that's because you agree with the solution, just not with the cause. Just like, for instance, if you look at the whole question, we've got Sleepy in here. Sleepy's gonna be probably itching at the bit to talk about this question of like, does it matter whether or not you're born with an innate sense of being the opposite sex, or if it's socially contagious? A lot of people just believe that the solution is the same, which is that just let them do whatever they want with their body in the market. Like a libertarian can be a Christian and still believe in letting people do that with their body because they are a libertarian first, a Christian second.
The cause
the real
doesn't matter.
question is whether or not both are in discordance.
The cause doesn't
I don't know.
matter.
I think
the
that
cause
that
was
you should
only
only
the language.
I think you should only pursue that if you have like innate medical needs that allow you to. I've changed my opinion on that. My brain's been de-Beijing and Tel Avivified.
I don't know what that means. That sounds interesting.
It means that a member of Smeth's audience has entered the chat, the voice chat.
I'm not a member of Smeth's audience. Most of the time, I am just Smeth's audience. What are you talking about?
Okay.
Well, yeah, like
I thought you were gonna say I am Smeth himself.
no,
Smeth's-
like
I'm working on that.
Sleepy has voice perms for now.
So when it comes
For now.
to trans and non-binary people, so many trans and non-binary people aren't that interested in surgery.
Yeah.
And so much of being interested in surgery is to pass.
Yeah, and also I think that
and
there's
to be seen by society.
for some people it's even like a sort of like anti-passing, but it's passing as other. Like, yeah, it is a whole bunch of this idea of creating a social identity of sameness or difference, but people want to be iconic. Like, I this is going to sound offensive. A lot of people want to be one of the McDonald's characters when they're talking about being like a genderqueer, gender fucked person. That language always gets attached to a like level of profound aesthetic uniqueness that makes them sometimes pursue surgery as well. But their idea of the cause is completely different. Is like they don't believe, for instance, in the trans medicalist thing that a lot of people believe. They believe in something of a self-identity, or they would even say that gender itself is a total fiction, and they happen to be a person that is writing their own gender fiction in that instance.
That's what I say. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Have you seen the TikTok of that like fucking dude that went around? He like went to Tijuana and he identifies as non-binary and as a lizard alien. Got his tongue split. Got like 5 fingers amputated. Got horn implants. Got like all of this stuff done.
He actually looks like a character from World of Warcraft.
Yeah, like he looks like if you made like a WoW character like come to life.
When I saw it, I thought it was like amazing special effects. So he actually looks like that. Like his skin, like it looks
like Argonian.
He looks like an ogre or something.
Yeah, he looks like an orc.
I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I've seen.
And when he talks about it on TikTok, because like that's all he can really do now is TikTok, because you know when you've got like 3 fingers on each hand, like that you can't really do much.
That's not the person we're talking about.
Oh, I'm just bringing up as an example of like there are people who they put in the amount of effort that a trans person does into like modifying their appearance.
He views that as his gender. He views his gender as being a reptile alien monster, and like he's doing all of that to reject society, and then he'll sit around and talk about like how his son and stuff doesn't talk to him because like he used to get bullied in school for it, and it's like, but would you? The thing is like 20 years ago, would we have that?
No. So the thing that's different is the level of cultural enmeshment, I think. And the reason for that is the social media, which allows you to be culturally enmeshed. And people are not like just like the ability for people to become grill pilled and just care about and focused on their own needs and their own wants. I just want to eat some fucking meat. I just want to hang out with my family. I want to watch a movie. The ability for people to have independent feelings separate from the zeitgeist that they are living within is like melting away. You're only allowed to experience joy as it exists within the TikTok trend. You're only allowed to experience anything from the experience of it being experienced by a collective.
So what you're
even
saying
yourself,
is that a
even
widespread
yourself,
audience is now more mimetic. Like the personal identity is now more of a mimetic idea versus being like an internal individualistic idea.
I'd rather
which
say
is kind
it.
of what
I'd rather
argue
every
about
time I
TikTok,
say anything, people take
will.
what I say and they're like, "Oh no, you actually mean this." I want to say that people are not self-differentiated, and I think that they are enmeshed with the culture. That's how I want to say it.
I still want to believe that there are people that believe in individuality.
Wait. So just on that enmeshment, the difference now with say social media, or really it's just the internet, right? Is what we're talking about. With the internet, people can enmesh in a non-like geolocated way, right? Because everybody's always been enmeshed, right?
Yeah.
In the 50s, everybody did just want to grill, right? That was enmeshment, right? Just get yours, buy microwaves, right?
See, I would argue it's not
Cook a
just the
fucking
internet,
burger in your
because
microwave,
even
right?
when we had the internet, like we didn't see this.
Whoa.
Algorithmic.
Let's talk. Sock was in the middle of a statement. You're engaging in an autism right now. I want to hear the rest of what Sock was saying.
I was mostly done, but I was just saying that this like enmeshment is like the enmeshment isn't new, and if anything, it's like people can choose who to be enmeshed with rather than just being either enmeshed with the people who
I don't
are
agree.
physically around them, or just being totally an outcast. And right, people with like weird features would be in like a circus freak show, and they'd be treated as freaks, right? And like
Sure.
bearded woman. Like
Sure.
this is something that's existed for the since the beginning of time, right?
When you say choose, what do you mean?
They have some ability to. I mean, I guess it's it's a lot easier to follow some different whatever groups than it is to like physically move to like a different state or different city, right? If you want to be enmeshed with different people, you would have to move from whatever, Philadelphia to New York or something, right? But now you can have this kind of like virtual digital enmeshment with people who are not physically around you, and so you can do it pretty quickly, and you can get your enmeshment can be more more responsive to what's inside of you than just like the town you grow up in.
Okay, this is what I think that enmeshment really goes down to the core of consent. And I don't like, so I don't think that somebody that's like 12 or somebody that's 15 really has the ability to actually make that choice of who they're enmeshing with to the same degree as like a 30-year-old. I think it's just going to happen. And your ability to actively filter out what's healthy for you and make these types of selections doesn't really happen until later in life.
Sure. Yeah, that's true. But
I
that's
don't think you have
new.
any choice. I don't think you have any choice in this.
Yeah.
I think
mean,
that at this point it's now like maybe when the internet was around, when like Smeth was a kid or something, when it was like all message boards and stuff, you had the ability to like choose what group you went with. But now study after study shows that like you are specifically driven down pipelines algorithmically. Like you can have a fresh TikTok account, sign up, set your age as 14, can't see anything that's, supposedly marked as adult content. And study after study shows that after a day of use, you start seeing stuff about sex work, pornography. You start seeing people talk about self-harm. You start seeing people talk about drug use.
Pipelines, by the way, that are privately owned could at any point voluntarily be changed. So if we're talking about it, like, keep in mind, people are the whole reason that this is happening is because it's fucking spectacle bait. People love the controversy. It's why we're talking about it right now. Like, we are kind of contributing. The fact that like we need to have a little discourse about it right now means that it's effective. Because everyone right now, if you don't own TikTok, a lot of people are going to watch this video, download TikTok, and see how long it takes until they see somebody talking about transing their gender or talking about how they feel guilt about being white or some kind of other thing that is a social contagion theory thing happening on these websites. That's, I think, the real primary motivator, is that it pushes downloads, it pushes purchases, eyes on screens, screen time. I got to take a shit.
So what you're saying, Tuna, is that actually Metal Gear Solid 2 was correct.
You can interpret that game in any which way you want.
Metal Gear Solid 2 is very, very implicit that it's all memetics and it's the Patriots controlling things, and they're the ones who are using algorithms to push memetic ideas into like America to be consistently war baiting. Like, that's the whole purpose of that game. It's like, are you against like memetic algorithms and stuff? Like Hideo Kojima said that.
I don't think it said algorithms.
Yeah, like literally, Kernel is an algorithmic AI. Like half of that game. He talks about it.
I don't think the word algorithm happened. The word you keep repeating over and over to make this fit is not in that game, to my knowledge.
No, if you listen to the skeleton Kernel speech, he will say that.
All right.
So the thing is, so you brought up consent, and consent in terms of basically like choosing kind of who you have in your life, the kind of thoughts and behaviors that are around you. I think we fundamentally don't choose, like, we don't consent to the values that are imparted to us as a young person.
Right. So
in general,
that's the thought I was having. So I was having the thought, so I could choose to be a Groyper and make like Nazi content or something. And I think that would like I could make that choice for like growth or whatever, but like I just can't.
Could you choose it?
That's what they're trying to say.
Okay, sure.
So I'm trying to like, So
You're
like,
limited by your values and the
yeah,
actions you can
exactly.
take in the world.
So I
Yeah.
can't I can't actually
That's a
choose.
good thing.
I could choose it, but it would have to become like kind of a sociopath to do that. You know, like I would
You would
have to
have to. You
lose
would have
all
to embrace
values.
and change your sense of self in order to take that action.
Right. So
Mhm.
in the ability to choose who you enmesh with, I don't think there's much of a choice. You're just
Sure,
kind of
but that's the freest choice, right? So this is like a Zizekism that I really like and I think is pretty accurate. That the choices that we make that are like totally unfree because we couldn't bring ourselves to do anything else. This is the only, based on our values, our sense of self. This is the only path for us. Those are the most free actions. So like who we love, that's like, if you can choose, then it's not really love, right? It's like it's almost like a definition, right? But it's not like unfree. And it's, oh my god, I'm being coerced. And it's like, in a way, yes, and in a way, there's no free will there. But it's kind of the most free thing because it's a pure expression of yourself.
this. Okay, I love Zizek, but in this regard, I don't like it. I don't like he is. He 100% is a derivative of literary analysis, but in this way, literary analysis is where you can watch an episode of Barney, and then you can write a like 10-hour script about how
No,
this
no,
one
no.
episode.
He wouldn't watch the episode. He would just like hear what it's about or something. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, what I'm saying is like I think that like that. Sure, what you're saying is interesting and provocative, but like how you define that
Well,
in the
wait.
language you're
Well, wait. So
using.
what's the alternative? So like, if you fall in love with somebody, like, do you like? It's true that in a way your kind of consent and your ability to like decide your path in life is taken away from you. But is that really is that something that you want to change about how life is, or is that something that's kind of
No,
like beautiful about the world?
no. That's great. But defining it as choice or not doesn't change the fact that it exists as such. But adding it's still the same regardless of how you define it as free will or not free will. It doesn't really matter. But I think that adding an element like an alien element, a machine into it that sorts people
Sure.
like the
That's
algorithms,
bad.
now that's bad. Yeah.
That's
So
that. Yeah.
so it like the as little of a choice as it is who you love. When you add a machine that's now part of this, like between you and who you enmesh with, it's even worse. Your ability to consent to that interaction to me is like
Sure.
undermined.
Yeah. I mean, it's really bad. I think we should probably keep TikTok away from children. Or we definitely should.
Yeah. I saw a
But I
video.
think,
Sorry.
yeah, I think we need to be careful about making statements about how novel the problems of something like TikTok or social media are, and we need to be careful about putting too much onto these problematic avenues of social media compared to like what drives what drives kids onto these, because it's not just because they're addicting, right? There's the classic experiment, right, with the rat. You know, if you give the rat with the water with the cocaine in it and one without cocaine, it drinks it with the cocaine and it fucking dies, right? And they're like, oh cool, if you're near addictive things, you get addicted and you die, right? But then they did a new experiment and they said, we put a rat that can have as much cocaine as it wants or normal water, but it's got some buddies, it's got some enrichment, it's got some fun stuff in its playpen, and it doesn't want any coke. It's like, no, I'm good. I've got real life, right? So whenever I think about these things, like, so for me personally, I think my risk of kind of like TikTok, I don't know, social contagion, addiction, whatever, social media addiction is a little bit lower because I have just like a lot of shit going on in my real like meat space life.
Yeah.
And it makes me think that if there's this much contagion, then there's kind of other more fundamental things that are missing for so many people, so many kids.
Well, I think it replaces it as you develop and you grow up. So if you grow up into it, into TikTok that takes place of things. Like I just like I wish she was here for this moment, but like Lav, like she like just is only now like discovering like herself. Like she was like in a tornado, like where she went into like sex work, she went into TikTok, and like it's only now that she's able to like have like the 20-year-old experience of like figuring out her shit.
It all starts from becoming homeless too. So like it's not even that removed from this theory that people become prey to unhealthy feedback loops due to a lack of healthy feedback loops. I know for a fact that anytime that somebody is over the age of 40 and they have a Snapchat, they don't even need to be a pedophile. I just think to myself, I don't want to be friends with you. You must have a terrible, terrible life, because there's no other reason that you would be on Snapchat at that age. But I used to work at a bar. I was a bouncer. And you could tell very easily who the people that were alcoholics were by the fact that they used Snapchat on the regular to like basically post like what we would consider like a TikTok, but just to only their friends. Like that kind of behavior, that kind of reliance on alternative forms of affirmation other than your real life, things that are, not sustainable, things that go through this weird medium. It's always a sign that like, oh yeah, I have a cocaine addiction. Oh yeah, I'm an alcoholic. Oh yeah, my children no longer speak to me, and I'm using this to supplement. I never see an adult cool with it, and I think that you grow out of it as well. Do you think that you can grow through it is the question. Can you, as a child, be on social media your entire life and then simultaneously in the background actually latch onto those healthy feedback loops like the gerbils in the cage that as soon as you put the water in, keep in mind, as soon as they put the water in, they did stop doing the negative thing. They didn't have to be forced to only have the water and then they reintroduced the cocaine and it went away. It's not that they didn't need a dopamine detox, as so many people are trying to say that you need to do.
It's
I think
not
it
dopamine.
might just be,
it's the enmeshment. It's the enmeshment. Like it's the certain feedback.
What do you think that operates on? What do you think that operates on?
It feedbacks on the reward like shit is what makes it easy and accessible, like the dopamine reward system. But the thing that it's not they're actually having like a dopamine detox. They're having a being having a narcissistic abusive person in your life that like controls everything you do, and having a vacation like for a month where you don't talk to them, you're gonna like that's gonna be really, it's like that's the detox. I think that the narcissistic abusive asshole is the social media, and you are enmeshed with that, and so like you're still gonna fucking seek out dopamine in your life, like you're not.
But maybe you're missing what I'm saying. I'm saying like, let's say that you have that narcissist in your life. Do we actually need to pull you away from them, or do we need to simply introduce something healthy? Because we have to do both.
You have to pull you away.
That's twice as much effort.
Both. It's kind of both. Yeah.
You need to both pull them away, or is it? Oh, okay.
Because it's really sticky. So I can say like I've never used TikTok. I use Instagram a little bit, just recreationally. I don't have any like
you have it under control.
To it. I'm a social
stuff with Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, lots of people, at least to like get your stuff out there. It's like,
marketing.
I don't know if you can make
ad revenue.
Money. No, actually, no. People get like sponsored. I've had people.
Yeah, there's ad revenue on Instagram now.
And now
I
there's
meant
subscribers.
the spending part. Are people spending, or is it ad revenue going?
They are now. They introduced a new thing where you can subscribe. I think $5 a month or I don't know something.
You could set the price, but you could subscribe to get verified on Instagram, and then also you could subscribe to certain people's Instagrams and get like exclusive photos.
That should not shock me, considering the fact that I went away from Instagram for about 2 years before opening it, and I opened it recently, and all of the content creators that used to be memers are now OnlyFans girls. It's a huge trend that happened.
That was so.
Wait. So the point that I was going to make is it's like. I've had this situation where I go out with friends or whatever, get some good food, and I take some photos of it, and I end up not posting it to Instagram, and I have a feeling of guilt after. I'm like, man, I really shirked my duties. I wasted this this content that could have been given to the machine. I didn't. I failed to like pray 3 times a day. Like I didn't do my duty. So this is the conversation I was having with Tuna a couple of days ago. It's like I think
it's a job. Being a social media
no,
user,
it's more than a job. It's a duty. It's
sure.
It's like a purposeful obligation. It's like the same obligation as like praying to God. It's something that you're just like supposed to do. It's just a good thing.
It's like having a parent that it's like having a parent that expects you to become a violinist and or something, and like being the violinist, like you're fulfilling your duty, you know?
Yeah.
You're
Fuck, I didn't practice. I went and saw a movie with my friends. I feel so guilty.
Yeah.
And I have a question for everybody.
Yeah.
So like I know that like okay, so like that feeling that you get when you go out and you take a photo of like food and stuff and you're like, "Oh, I feel guilty for not posting this on Instagram." Like I don't get that feeling. But I do get like a similar feeling when like I go out to a club or something and I have like my makeup looking really good. And like I'm wearing like something that's like really, really revealing, and it's like, well, fuck, I didn't post this as a thirst trap on TikTok, and I could have like taken some like some pictures and like posted them on like Fansly and stuff like that. So like, do you think that what comes after TikTok is going to be like good or bad? Because like it seems like there's like a huge generational thing. Like Tuna mentioned Snapchat. I don't know anybody that uses that that's not like over like 30.
It's gone. But people still use it. It's still raking in money as a company exclusively off of predatory practices.
I mean, I don't know anybody that's like hit me up on Snapchat. Like, that's.
I mean,
is that the one with the ghost or?
I think there are 2 types of people on Snapchat. There are people that are attempting to engage in some form of sex-based scam, and then there are people who are there because it is where it was the social media that clicked for them, and their like small friendship niche is still in it. Kind of like how some people probably still use, as disgusting and weird as it is to think about, MySpace way later than the like complete death of MySpace. There are people that were just like still using
Facebook.
And yeah, I mean, Facebook is on the cusp of it right now, but it's like MySpace is like a more dramatic. I think that the reason that both of you guys are feeling that way, and most people feel that way, is because it's like a failure to make progress on producing the sort of like future self that you've promised to others. I am creating a version of myself that I have sort of implied that, whether or not I've implied to myself or to others, because sometimes your persona is not your real self, it's your idealized self, and you're trying to fake it till you make it. That's what it feels like. So when you go out and you go to see the Barbie movie instead of stream or something, think about it as like, you can then have a stream later about the Barbie movie, and you've actualized your development and becoming of self into it's like, I've promised, Smeth, me, you, Sock, to a certain extent, you, Sleepy, as a person that is one is trans, to some extent, whatever that means in your identity, there is some ideal form of ourself that we have promised a lot of strangers that we're beholden to, if not for the value that it places on our word, than for the actual promise itself.
Okay. So you're a musician, Tuna. This is something I've always thought. Okay, I've played the piano for quite a long time. I haven't been playing it lately, but whatever. So when I'm playing to myself, I have an imaginary listener. That's not me. If I'm just playing to nobody else, and the imaginary listener kind of is me, but I'm imagining it's someone else. You know what I mean? But they're not a real person. Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's like an omniscient or like omnipresent observer.
Yeah, like
I'm thinking of it as like
playing to God, basically. Like that's
literally,
how Beethoven used to like describe it. Like I'm
thinking of it as a superego function, where you're predicting whether or not the thing that you're doing will later gain actual approval in the market.
Yes, but you have a simulated observer. Okay?
Yes.
So that simulated observer thing is the thing that is being taken advantage of by social media. that is the part of you that they're abusing. They're filling the role of the a simulated observer.
Kind of, yeah, absolutely. Because
Which is
it's
also
a place
God.
for you to.
It's like your God. It's like
Sure, but do you not? Well, so what are they offering in exchange? I think that's an interesting thing to look at all the different stages of the website. So the first
Existence.
Web.0, it's a place to put your thoughts, and we will hold it there for you. We won't share it, but we'll hold on to it. So that was like live journaling, private journaling. Then social media says we will host it as long as you produce it. Then that becomes we will host it and we will push it onto other people for them to then share it, so long as you allow us to intersplice it with promotional and advertisement material. We're getting to a new stage where there is, but you have to go out of your way and search up the name, but you aren't happening upon people's pages on TikTok. It is a constant, single, continuous feed made for the viewer, and their job is to flick through it like an executive in an elevator, checking really quick, are you going to catch my attention? Are you going to earn my attention? And if so, TikTok shakes hands and becomes an algorithmic, it gets into an algorithm contract where then they unshadow ban you. Because I don't even know, if you don't know this, if you make 3 TikToks in a row that have bad metrics, they will stop sharing. And a lot of people, what they do is they delete their TikTok and start a new one. Because you're never going to get shared in the algorithm again. You're FYP banned.
Yeah, like if you're like, I've had that happen before where like I'll be sitting there and I'll be like, oh God, like that face I'm making looks really gross. And we're just gonna like watch the rest of it. So like I'll restart the whole thing and be like, hey, come back over here.
That's why that's why the millennial pause is dead, by the way. I'm putting it out there. Everything's in media res because you need to be spending the first 10 seconds of the video curious about the context upon which the thing you were looking at has come to pass in order for you to get past that 10 seconds. If it feels too presentated, too much like a person is asking for your attention,
like, fuck off, yeah.
Yeah, fuck you. I don't want to be a part of any club that wants me to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I want to worm my way in like a rat.
the ability for
Well,
somebody
there's
to
also this weird thing that I was gonna say, like, I don't know, Tune, if like you have like special insight into this or not, but like you know me pretty well, I think. And there's like this weird thing, especially among like my generation, like people that like I hang out with, especially, where it's like, I've talked to like a few people about this. We'll go to post something that like we believe like strongly about, and then we'll like hesitate about like making a video, making like a post about it, making like a tweet about it, because it's like that's like something that's genuine versus like, well, all of my followers like expect just pure irony pilled like 24/7
performance,
and like the contrast is even more stark because like when I commented on one of Smeth's posts and I said, oh well, like of course, like look, it says goy at the beginning of the video, like right there, like how much more do you need this spelled out? And then Smeth was like, I don't get it. And it, like, for me, for like a second, I was like, how do you not?
You're the deepest inside of this of the subtext hole than anyone's ever been in. Of anybody I've ever met. You know what every dog whistle means. You are indiscernible other than the ethical principle of the type of person that is like paranoid that Nazis are like taking over the social sphere and dog whistling their way into the government. You have that same level of like conscious attunement, but you're just not a person who's concerned. Which that means that a lot of people, when they're reading your stuff, they're paying attention to your stuff, they are thinking to themselves, who is Sleepy? Is Sleepy a person I should be suspect? People are on guard when they read your stuff. So they need you to then sort of also be on guard as well in order for them to feel safe. That's actually what I think is going on.
See, I don't know. I've always had.
No,
like
I just wanted to fight back
a lot
against a
of people
dog whistle.
tell me
I'm like,
that,
you're gonna dog
how you
whistle on my
need to.
post. Fuck you. That's what I was thinking. So
Well, don't you think? Okay, no, I'm answering her question, not what your behavior was. I'm asking her question. Why is it that her followers don't respond well to vulnerability?
okay, no,
because
I wanted to say something. So this goes.
Can I finish my sentence and then you say something, or are we gonna do a little cock measuring contest? Okay, because it's 4 inches, buddy, and that's average.
Continue.
We should do the contest after. Yeah.
No. Okay. What I'm saying is, the people that engage with Sleepy want everybody to be on guard, everybody to be doing a play, because she's being vulnerable, but then she's also pointing out and saying, by the way, I know what all your things mean. You're not like, then she's like putting up, we will assume that she's being unguarded and that all of her sincerity is fake, which looks even creepier because we don't know the signals of it. We're like, why did she say that she's sad? Why would she express that
What does
emotion
it mean?
publicly?
What is she trying to get us to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
It's actually an
precedent
anti-Semitic
of
dog
dishonesty
whistle.
has been set. A precedent of dishonesty has been set.
Yeah, I
think
think that precedent of
Go back and
dishonesty
forth.
sort of has been set with every like post to some extent. Like for the same way where like in like the UK, people will say that we expect our politicians to be liars. You expect your social media poster to be a liar too. And
of course.
I find that the challenge, the thing that my desire, my goal is to carve out a niche where my honest thing is, I want to make room for my honest thing within, like, so like when I have like that genuine post that Sleepy was talking about, well, where do I post this and shit? My goal is to make it so that when I post it, people see it. And that's a bigger goal. And I think that's an incredibly lofty task on most social media platforms. I don't think that, carving a niche clearly seems utterly like for your own. It seems really hard to do on TikTok. The reason I made this panel is I'm actually like I'm way more than Twitter, way more than Facebook, I'm actually afraid of TikTok. I think TikTok is really, really dangerous.
I like TikTok. I've got 10,000 followers on TikTok.
Well, that's why you like it.
That's also why
Well-
Smith is scared of it.
Well, like
Imagine-
here's the thing though, is that like I
Attention.
find myself in this like predicament like more and more, where like even when like I message like you, Smith, or like when I started like talking to you, Tuna, it was like at the beginning, like I would say something that like I genuinely like believed or something, and then I would sit there and I'd read it and I'd be like, this doesn't come off as like real. This seems like something that's like completely fake. Like even when I was talking to like Jenny about stuff, she was like, I honestly have no idea if you're being serious or not, or if like you're actually saying something that you mean. And it's like I feel like they're like everybody over like 25 just like expects everything to be like super serial like all the time. When you look at people like me or like Eros, where it's like, is what we're doing actually us? Like me and Eros can have conversations for like hours because like that's just like how we are. Versus like when I message Smith and I have to be like, by the way, like I actually mean this.
You even in your sentence had to replace the word serious with serial in order to de-serious it.
Yeah, that's the
so.
like.
But what I'm saying is, punch it the other way around. Nothing can be serious if you're the age 25 or younger. Everything needs to be serious. Like that's the criticism everyone has. Yeah, there's a cultural divide. But also, do you know why? If you're like approaching like a jovial, joking sense, people 25 and up that are still on the internet, still using it for their affirmation, need to enter a new stage of what that looks like. And that's why I think some of them become overly serious. They want it to be politics. They want it to be activism, or else them spending so much time is clearly a detriment to their life and clearly is a waste of time.
Well,
so
it's also
that's why I
branding.
think everyone at that age is doing that shit.
It's also because you're trying to sell a product on social
I
media.
agree with
right?
that. Tuna.
Well, like here's the
Yeah,
thing
but
though. Steph,
here's not the thing. You're trying to sell a product on social media. So if you do like funny, sarcastic, ironic sometimes, and then you do serious sometimes, then your product, like if you're diversifying and putting it all on one platform, like it becomes harder to sell. So I think that it like because we're trying to sell.
So
it's not just
the perfect example of why that's not the case is okay. Who's that schizophrenic on YouTube?
The one that the shoot knife.
Which
J-Reg.
one?
J-Reg, right? So he has all these videos that are just like deeper and deeper levels of irony. He had a video about irony.
Brag, yeah.
He had this one video about like, I don't know, it was like depression or something, and it seemed really heartfelt, and there was nothing that seemed jokey about it. And somebody who's that level of ironic all the time, it makes sense that they spend some of their life like depressed. Like that's a very coherent like personality and even brand. And I think
Lonely.
people took it
Alone.
to some degree as very serial.
Hyper serial.
Hyper serial. Yeah.
Well, like,
Serial
well,
killer
here's the
serial.
thing that I was going to make a point of to
Can't keep
Smeth
getting
is
away
like
with it.
there's you can't keep getting away with it. I don't know why he does. But okay, anyways. Like when I was DMing you, Smith, and I was like, oh, like what are like your top 5 bands or anything? It was like then like don't like be in character. And you're like, I'm not in character. Like I don't know why, but like
Yeah, it's
like
weird.
me
to
and
me. Really,
Earl's and
really
everybody
weird.
always expect people we always expect people, especially like streamers and stuff, like as an ex-streamer, like that people to some certain extent are going to like put on characters. And especially like when you're being asked questions like about that, like there's always this sort of thing that happens when I'm interacting with people who are like way older, or they'll be like, oh well, hold on, I've got to think of like the most
Okay, here's the
artsy
thing.
music
Here's the
I listen to.
Here's the thing. Okay, I think
And then
that
like
people that are way younger are all inherently playing a character because they haven't developed a full identity yet, and people that are older actually have an identity, so they don't have to play a character. I mean, if they are one, that like implying that I am one means like you're saying that I'm not a full person almost.
People who
No,
are
but
older.
I think that you're a character when you're on stream. Like I think you're more relaxed when you're not on stream and you're just like having a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, and I
think you,
I
like,
try to
have
be
that
entertaining. I mean, as entertaining as this fucking stream has failed to be. I mean, I try, but yeah,
We gave it a shot.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
fine.
That's what
you
I
know,
want to do
it's-
right now.
what do I need to do? Like
so
just like
fucking
start
stupid!
doing-
It's so
Do I need-
stupid! People have personas. People have fucking even in real life. Yes, it's a character. Move on. Fuck.
So there's So there's two things that we need to distinguish. So playing a character on stream, that can mean two radically different things. One of them can be, hey, among other things, this is an entertainment platform. And I don't like these kind of like reductive things. I'm not saying that you're doing this, but that I hear all the time of like, oh, trying to be hyperbolic or whatever. I mean, like, you could literally wear a wig and you could talk in an accent. Like, you could play some character. You could stream politics as a Victorian peasant or something, right?
Yeah.
Like, you could play a character. It's a creative medium. But there's a different thing that is the one that I generally don't like, which I see generally younger people maybe doing, although anybody who's older on Twitch maybe as well, which is like just maxing out the pathos of everything that they're doing, because like Tuna said, it needs to really mean something. It needs to have some kind of real world impact. Otherwise, what's the point? So there's people who are comfortable performing because this is a performative media, and there's people who need something to be real more than that, and so they get so emotionally invested in it, and they themselves think that they are that thing that they're performing.
I mean, I don't think that anybody who's on the internet doing, making a big post like talking about, Jesus Christ, you'll have a person make a post talking, what we need to fix, what we need to normalize, like all of that stuff, like the urgency, the necessity of my idea to become the thing that we as an entire species implement into practice. Yeah, that is
I've got the solution.
I have the solution to the problem that is my problem, but I'm declaring also I not only have the solution, now I have the problem. I've discovered the problem. It's because they're out of tune with the world. They're not solving problems in their own life. They're not spending. I know for a fact that some people will like create an identity where they're like, actually, I'm never going to do any of that stuff. I was never going to do any of this. It doesn't matter. But it's like you're 35 and you're on the internet talking about, oh God, if you're someone like doing a stream drama thing or something, you're talking about like if you do like a Diorio type Twitter account or something, and you're spending a lot of time learning everything you can about random online celebrities, and then you're posting it for post engagement, that is going to be really depressing to like think of in literal. So it needs to be for something for so many people. If you're strong enough of will to accept that that's just your hobby, then that's one thing. But most people need one of two justifications. It either has to be saving the world or it needs to be making them money. And I think in both instances, whether or not it's the money, like you said, Smeth, or if it's the deep sense of purpose, like was being implied earlier, both of those are, it's just about saying that what I'm doing is not a waste of my life. I am not making it so that I'll never have children and never own a home. I can keep doing what I'm doing now. I am not wasting my time, and my identity is safe to continue into perpetuity. I don't need to experience ego death right now. I can keep being who I am, totally safe. It's not gonna fucking.
So yeah, but you're just saying that it's impossible for doing anything online to be purposeful at all. But I think engaging in the marketplace of ideas and talking about your opinions does do something. Like you don't have to dilute yourself. I don't think you have to dilute yourself thinking you're actually changing. Like, but I think you can change one person or something like that. I don't know.
You can change like 5 people in a single day, having conversations with people in your family in real life, and almost no one ever does it. Sure. It's like I just don't think that it gives us. We are not doing it for the purpose. We are ascribing the purpose so that we can keep doing it. That's just what it is at this point.
I just don't get why you need to change people's minds. Like,
I don't know.
That just seems like serious.
Okay. So I think that TikTok is dangerous. So what do we do about that?
Too serial, bro. What do we do about it?
Yeah.
We probably, if we have
Just
children
uninstall
or
it.
if we have brothers and sisters or cousins in our life or nephews rather, that we care about, try and talk with their parents or talk with our own children about, hey, we're going to try and just go fishing today.
I don't think that this stream has made people scared enough of TikTok.
Okay, you want to be more scared of TikTok?
Like,
You want to be more scared? Yeah, okay.
Like,
just
the former
fucking
president started it.
sip down the fucking... Also, no one's ever going to be really scared of TikTok other than you, by the way. Like, it's kind of like Rocco's Basilisk. I don't think that anyone actually cares. And when we talk about these like little bits of like, if I say the right sentence, I can make you feel an existential fear that will make you change your behavior. I'm just not convinced. Sorry. You're not going to be able to communicate that to somebody using language alone. Too many defenses exist between you and them.
Well, wait. Okay. So let's try. Like,
that's bullshit. Fuck you.
Tell me more about your fear of TikTok.
I think that it is like literally enabling like harmful behaviors and trends to ripple through society at rapid, like unprecedented, faster than ever before in history rates, where people do things like drugs, crime, like harm to their body, develop mental health disorders, and I think it's an unprecedented, like harmful thing.
But how is that any different than Twitter or like people used to talk about like?
It just is. Twitter's big problem is Twitter puts people into social bubbles, and it makes people it like, you can blame Twitter for the like in part, but for the stratification of like politics and shit like that, and it's clearly like very powerful and has effect on like elections and shit like that. But
video. It's video and not text. You start experiencing it involuntarily. Each post that you swipe by in the FYP, you actually do receive the info. You can ignore text. You
sure,
can just
and not only that, but like it makes it so like the format of TikTok is like you can expect shitty videos. Everybody, you're participating, so it's not just you're just consuming the videos. You can actually become a participant. Like if you can become an equal to the person, you can do the same exact trend. So like now you can
repost, and those are always fun. Like those will always guarantee like people watch.
Well, there's
you're just like that voice that you made there. That's why everybody thinks you're always ironic. Like you can always guarantee, because you were being ironic.
No, I'm saying like you're just saying like dawned on me that if you duet, like it does boost engagement.
When you but we weren't talking about like we weren't talking about boosting engagement as the goal here. We're talking about like mental health and like and shit. But then like and then you added in, but you know that's good for engagement. So like that is the irony you introduced.
I don't know. I just think that like engagement's fine, and it's fine to not have a clear message. Like it's fine to just have your own thoughts and keep them to yourself, unless you like share them with somebody.
You're not doing what Smith wants, which is that we're all passing the ball around, trying to create the scariest concept possible, and you're going the opposite direction.
I think TikTok.
So you're just talking about something completely different.
Shorts is,
Yes.
Well, Shorts is probably just as dangerous.
So Smith, so like what happened that you ended up forming this fear? So you have this like outcome that you believe will happen, and obviously, okay, if it's the case that X thing is the like greatest generator or spreader or whatever of like, you know, bad things that could spread through social media. If this platform is the worst, okay. But it's like this platform happens to be worse than this platform. It's going to be hard to sell like the kind of terror over this. But it's like, oh, this platform is only 2/3 as terrifying. Like, right? So what is it about TikTok in particular? Or are you as terrified about like Instagram,
Facebook.
YouTube, whatever, Facebook,
YouTube.
like YouTube?
I think that
I'd be more
like
YouTube has like
personally
monkey
of
torture
Discord.
on it.
I think it's the
Discord is
format.
number one on my sphere.
I think that no. Discord doesn't make like
Discord might be
a wave
one
of people doing lean.
Okay, yeah, but
Discord has a like inordinate amount of like child molesters on it,
Yes.
though.
Okay, yeah, sure, but
And
like
flat
I don't think Discord's turning people-
Discord is the back room of every other website, though. Any
Yes.
content creator uses Discord to directly
Yes.
connect with privately their
Yeah.
audience off
Yes,
platform. It's a
Discord
way
in
of
the
making it so that the
shadows.
terms of service
It
of
creates
all
social
the
relationships.
terms of
Yes.
service of all social media stops existing because Discord exists.
The international waters of
Yes,
Yeah.
Discord's bad. Twitter's bad. It's all bad. But TikTok.
But TikTok is
this-
terrifying.
TikTok is the social contagion platform.
I
So-
think I figured out why Smith-
Discord is the child abuse platform, and that's terrifying too. I think that the solution there. I think
TikTok's
I
the
can.
mall.
Here's the thing. I can imagine
Discord is the big white van.
I can
TikTok is the
imagine-
mall.
I can imagine solutions that would fix Discord that they could implement. Okay. Like they can do like better like age gating type things. They can do
I think if they had age gating, I don't see that as like a compatible.
It'll
like,
stop
the
being
usage
used.
for- the
sure,
usage
but I
for-
mean they could do it and like so. But I can imagine that and they can do it. Okay, sure it would break their like function. Okay, but whatever, they can do it. I can imagine it. I cannot imagine a single thing that TikTok could do to fix their shit other than completely being something entirely different. Because I think what TikTok is fundamentally like fixated on creating social contagion as content.
Do you think that, Beth? Do you think it would work better if it was Chinese TikTok?
I don't know.
Because Chinese TikTok has a watch limit of 2 hours, and then you can't open the app for the rest of the day.
That sounds cool. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
TikTok has more enforcements in China than it does in the US.
I know.
I want to pill you on something, Smith, really quick. You can't fix any website. You can't fix it because every website
Capitalism.
is automatically producing itself based on the needs and wants of people. The second, so remember the school, not the school shooting, the grocery store shooting, Buffalo got streamed on this very website. Everybody was saying, they need to be better at stopping this. We can't have people live streaming mass death events. It's like the pornographization of Black Death. People are saying all these things left and right. They took it down from the first bullet shot, I think, in less than 7 minutes. Like, they did inordinately well
Pretty
compared
fast.
to any other mass sharing event. But the thing that people really want is they wanted Twitch to do something that it can't do, or else Twitch stops being Twitch and something else starts being Twitch. The same thing is true of TikTok. The same thing is true of Discord. The same thing is true of all these things, because these are not merely companies with ideas coming up with their own way of doing things. These are
YouTube
These
is
are
making
solutions,
TikTok.
desires in the market.
YouTube
And
is
once the
making
desire
TikTok.
is there, it lives its own
Yeah.
life.
YouTube is
All
making
those
TikTok
people
with
were
the
watching
shorts.
it.
YouTube is
I
making
just
TikTok
feel
with
like
the shorts.
a lot of
Every platform is trying to make TikTok like content because they know how powerful it is and how infectious it is, and it keeps you swiping forever. Twitter is doing shit like that too.
Google has perfected it, in my opinion. Google with YouTube, the YouTube short, the fact that there is a
Pretty good.
tri-modal
Content, too.
singular platform is insane.
I think
Short, mid, live,
Mhm.
I think
all in one profile.
I think that TikTok and things that do what TikTok are doing. I am 100% against just being like, "Oh, social media company, you guys fix it. I trust you." No. I think we should literally pass a law that says if you are engaging in practices like this, you should not be able to sell your product.
You know what you can do?
No, I mean, I
you
think
could move to the
I think I could be on board
move
with
to a
that,
cabin in
so-
the woods
wait.
I got something.
and start sending letters.
I could do a lot. I could kick you off the panel that you weren't invited to.
Technically, I feel like I gave you the idea for this.
There's no fucking way in
wow,
hell that doesn't make a
damn.
single fucking make sense.
Wow.
When me and you and Will were talking,
I'm not
and I
gonna
brought
have it.
the
I'm gonna
TikTok
mute you
vacation-
right now because
Censorship.
I don't like
He's afraid
this
to
is
hear the truth.
bullshit. I don't want to talk about this on my panel right now. This is stupid. I
Info
don't- I-
virus developed right there.
So I'm totally on board with companies like I would say especially Facebook. I think I don't know which one is worse, but companies like Facebook that do so much to very to in a really complex way log user activity and use machine learning to figure out an experimentation to figure out the best way to get people hooked and potentially even figure out how to manipulate people's opinions. I think that's potentially very, very dangerous. And I'm not happy or comfortable with that being in the hands of some company who clearly doesn't seem to have any real kind of ethical backing. So I mean, having a general regulations against companies using machine learning and social media against us in these ways, I'd be happy with that existing. I think that could be great, and it should be applied across the board.
I've got a great solution that fixes two problems. It wraps this in. And I was thinking about this earlier. The way that streaming, and not streaming as in live streaming, but just streaming as a way of engaging with media. So Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, all of these things. This idea of downloading something that then has a temporary and automatic delete phase. If we made it so that is not allowed to happen, that companies that let you download something in order to watch it on your device, you need to actually volunteer. They cannot force you in their contract to have it automatically delete. That content gets to be stored however you want in perpetuity. That would create such a situation where there is a hard bandwidth cap by the capacity of the phone. When you are downloading all of these things, you would need to clear your cache data. It would be such an inconvenience, and it would also fix the problem of the impermanence of media, where all of these different things that were once streamed, which have been downloaded billions of times by being watched continually by random people, suddenly don't exist in any saved form anywhere on the internet anymore, unless somebody has snuck it into a wayback. There's this big problem with technology now, where we are spending exorbitant percentages of the available bandwidth of our increasingly more sophisticated download and upload technology. Like, why do I need 1 gigabyte, fucking Mbps download internet right now, if not for the fact that everything that I do is simultaneously downloading and deleting itself and then re-downloading itself because I had to refresh the page. And it's just like all of this shit with TikTok is being enabled by that becoming the norm and everybody accepting it.
Sure.
You are constantly downloading
that fire hose of content.
Yeah, why we're able to go through it so fast. Because we don't have a right and we don't have right of property over the things we download anymore. If you returned that, you would make it so that these platforms would not be actually profitable because they wouldn't do streaming based content. It would be about charging in a different way. It would be about profiting in a different way other than exploiting how much content can a single person watch as fast as possible.
All right, how do you justify having that prescription, but also previously saying that anybody that gives an opinion online is deluded, and like we're all, I don't know. You said something that implied that us daring to like want to change people's minds or hearts or whatever. So what are you doing now if you're saying that you don't want to change anybody's mind? You don't want to advance an idea. Then why are you doing it? What are you trying to do?
It's not that I don't want to or do want to advance an idea. I obviously have my own opinions and I have my own like ways that I think the world should be. I'm not like an anti-political person, or else I wouldn't be having conversations from the perspective I do. I don't think when people go on and have these political discussions that they're always motivated by the idea that they will be the one to have a certain percentage of change in the world. I think that they're motivated mostly by that is a justification to keep doing the thing that they are currently doing, is to frame it to themselves and to others as political. Like when people make a twit longer about how somebody was mean to them or somebody like sent them nudes or something, it becomes a political statement as opposed to a drama statement. The elevation of things from the social into the political is purposely done all the time to make things that are not political opinions look like ones. Just because I do actually have political opinions and I share them on the internet doesn't mean that I can't like point out that that's a consistent practice of people to elevate their drama to this thing that you need to care about what this guy said to me. You need to care or else you're racist. Sorry.
So that's
I
different.
Don't.
Okay,
do you think that that's what I'm talking about though?
Okay.
That's like, okay, what do you... Ask me more directly, very clearly what you're asking me.
I think I'm angry. I'm just angry because the context,
True.
The context in which you said that was in the context in which Sleepy was talking about me, and talking about themselves, and so you were talking about the need to always like. So you were in contrast to Sleepy, who was saying that us people older than 25, we're being like too serious. And Sleepy's being too ironic, then what you're saying was that we were the ones that are, trying to be pushing an idea. You were making that analogy talking about us. So I felt personally.
I'm not talking about me and you. You want me to throw fucking pipe bombs directly through specific windows? I'm talking about when somebody like all those news reports that went out. All those news reports and interviews that went out about, God, what is her name? Punished Mother. I forget what her Twitch streaming name was. But this person who is, all she's doing is she has an OnlyFans that is communist aesthetic themed, anarchist aesthetic themed. But the way that people were saying is that she is de-radicalizing young right-wing men using domination stuff.
Uh-huh. I read that same article, yeah. You
are selling nudes of your body, and that's what it is. Mm-hmm. You're not. It doesn't need to be thought of as political. It doesn't, but it does to keep doing it and not feel like you're doing something that is anti-anarchist, anti-feminist, You need to create a narrative that fits it inside of your sense of self. In the same way, I think a lot of people, drama needs to be political because they're an adult. I'm an adult now. I'm not a kid in a little fight with me and my friends. Now it's real politics. Now the fact that's you know what? What is usually called a snide remark is a microaggression now.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been elevated. It's been upgraded. The severity is through the roof.
And that's that same who's saying like this isn't my problem. This is like all of our problem.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I don't like to say that I'm like a political streamer, because I'm just talking about how I feel all the time and like what I think of. It's my opinions. Like, I'm not doing policy. I don't even talking about actual policy is not in my wheelhouse, like at all. Like, so
Make some policy prescriptions, but like Jesus Christ, I'm not. Brianna Wu like is marketing her online presence as being very specifically attached to policy. That's probably the closest I can see in this sphere of people that I've seen stream. To it, I guess I am really important.
Yeah.
Yep, that's another one. There are very few people though where you can say that about them without being like, well, it's politics in like the Vosh way, right? Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean by in some of the most honest people about this are like the new biggest streamers. Like obviously Chud's whole thing is he's abandoned the entire aesthetics of this being politics. It is drama. It is smut for the masses now.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it kind of liberating and free, is that people don't have to play into the idea versus, something like even Kethels, who's an edgy person, it's still labeled as political. I am, her whole thing was, right, she's ratioing conservatives online. I'm dunking on right-wing people online. I'm no, you're
Fighting
just
the good fight.
I'm fighting the good fight. You're in the attention economy, doing what everybody else is doing, but now it's based in political, and you need to be involved. Comrade, we need you on the streets. The meme war calls. It's that's the point. That's
the other day. I fucking, this is so pathetic. I do this all the time. On Twitter the other day, I made like I made a comment on a post that got like 15, it's probably up to like 20,000 likes now, but it was just like a cop that pulls over a judge, and then the judge like yells at him, and he's like, you better check this out, check out the plate, and then he checks out, he's like, goodbye judge. And I said they should both be fired, the judge for leveraging his judgedom, and the cop for like letting him off the hook because he's a judge. And like a bunch of people like that, or no, actually no, I'm talking about a fucking different post. I'm sorry, forget about that. There was some other post anyway. And so I didn't even remember what I said, but I've been using Twitter to get engagement, so I've been just commenting on things. So I just asked a question about the thing. It was like it was family court, and the man like got like screwed over. So I asked a question about how this was resolved, and then all these like incels are like going into the replying to my comment. They're saying like all this like shit like about how they hate all these women that do this shit. And then this woman comes in, and she has all the facts, and she's like fighting with all these incels and shit. And I liked her comment, and I was like, okay, this person like is providing the information. Is that person engaging in the drama, or are they actually doing something positive? Because she added the context and information to help with all those people. Is that positive or helpful, or is that just drama?
I got bad news. In my opinion, I think it's just not reading the room. It's being like unaware of what people are doing. I think that it's like kind of out of touch. It's sort of like if two people, two kids are, sitting around cracking jokes, and then somebody was to say, are you really this hateful? And it's like, nah, man, we're shit talking. We're playing it up a little bit. So like maybe there is something to be said that when men commiserate online, because we think of men as violent, we think of all the statistics about, people who get, just abused by their ex-husbands. I get it. I get not wanting to have people joke around about it, but it's like, they don't care about the facts. They care about a collective narrative. It's like a pervert cult. You need to take that feeling that you had one time and feel it forever. We don't resolve the feeling. We don't resolve the tension. We don't try and find solutions. I want to feel heartbroken about the way that bitch took my child away from me for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to engage in media that lets me continue having that feeling, continue scratching that healing wound.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's where I think I can help change. when you're saying that, light bulbs are flashing in my head about how I can help change the world. Because one thing that I can do is I can set an example for how to engage with that stuff where I'm comfortable changing my mind. And if I can do it, and then other people can see me do it, maybe they can do it too.
Do you not think that maybe a little bit of your anger before is a recognition of something that sort of pernicious that's inside of all of us? Do you not think that the reason that you want to change that is because it make you feel like you did something with the time that you're doing all of that stuff? So,
of course,
there's a little bit of sucking on your teeth afterwards, but how do you feel about that? How does that make you feel to know that there's something that you're doing that is good for a selfish reason? Okay, I was gonna say,
even my feminism is completely selfish because I have somehow engineered my mind to only be able to get like horny from. I was just telling my therapist this earlier. The reason that I like censored porn, I'll enjoy porn that like is like censored and it's like you have to look at my feet, but I don't have a foot fetish. I just have a censoring fetish. But the fact that I am being told what I'm allowed to look at by the porn, I mean, it's like the fact that the porn is setting boundaries with me makes me feel like I'm being actually consented. I feel like I'm being given the gift of consent. What I'm being given is what I'm allowed to be given. So, but in this regard, all of my feminism, I need women to be able to consent to even be able to have like a healthy sex life. So it's all selfish.
You're a person that thinks that sex work is inherently coercive.
Yeah.
So even when a person gives explicit consent, it's not consensual. But when somebody gives emulated consent,
no, it's just simulating it in my mind. Like the actual censored porn is not.
Well, what I'm saying is that you have a bit of a hyper reality thing going on. The simulation of the consent is more real than the actual consent, because the real consent is impossible.
Yeah.
So what you need is something that's super impossible in order for it to be super real.
It's not. Yeah. It's sure.
Yeah.
But in real life, I do like really. It's so hard to get affirmative, not like consent, like you can do this or allowance, like actually like knowing that a woman wants you to do something, knowing she actually like desires you and shit. It's so hard to get that, and that is the thing that I'm simulating when I'm looking at porn. I'm trying to every fantasy that I have, it revolves around like a situation. They're all my fantasies are so wild because every time I try to enact them in real life, a woman ruins it for me by not actually being like having desire, actually advocating for herself. So I have to create a new fantasy where I imagine a scenario like so contrived that I'm actually experiencing some true desire of a woman.
Can I check with you on something? So let's say that there are two things I want to go in. Number one, even if you bore witness to true unfiltered desire, do you think that you'd still want it?
Yes.
Do you ever fear that if the true, because here's the thing.
I think about this, yeah.
The most assured way, I don't want to be too controversial. The most assured way to know that the other person is exhibiting their pure desire is to be raped.
Right.
It's the only instance where you know for a fact they are not doing this for me. They are not doing this for their identity. They are submitting fully, unfilteredly to desire. Okay, so you know that would feel wrong, right? Or do you have a fetish about that as well?
No. I want to desire them too. So, like, there are always going to be something that happens in sex, obviously, like you have your wants and desires, they have theirs. If those aren't communicated, then I don't understand what's going on consent wise. But like so that's the first fucking hurdle. And once that is communicated, then they're not going to perfectly align. So the things that I truly want are not going to perfectly align with what they truly want. And I truly want to know what they want, and like for that to be encompassed in my desire. I have to want, so my desire for the woman is desire for her to have desire. So in that
Sure.
rape scenario, then I wouldn't. I would have to be attracted to her, but it would be. I'm rape proof. You know, like it would just always become my thing. So
Can I? Okay, so we've led into it. We've led into it so perfectly. So Socrates, do you know where I'm going? There's a sort
I
of
don't know where we're going. I
Lacanian
don't know where we've
going on here.
so
So there's sort of, so the thing that you want for them to be in absolute enraptured desire, but to not be able to fully satiate the desire because the desire that they have requires something that you're not going to be able to they can't get back from you, which is to believe that it's for them and not for you. Because every woman, when having sex with a man, you need to keep it a secret that it's for you so that they can make sure that it's for them so that it can be for you. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, yeah, that is a thing, but so there that thing that you're talking about ruins it. So they actually have
communicating the boundary stops the thing from what you wanting to happen from happening. Because if you're too honest, they will think that it's for you and they won't know if it's for them or for you. And you won't know whether or not they're wanting it for you or if they're wanting it for them. And you act like a voiceless consent is probably the closest you can get to fulfilling the thing that you want.
No, what you're describing ruins it for me. That convolution ruins it for me. I actually want to know what you want, and there will. It's not like I actually completely morph to it. There is ambivalence on my side. It's not I just actually want. The only way there's two different things happening in my mind. There is an emotional reality, and then there is just the horny. I guess they're kind of but they're different emotions. Okay, I can only feel. Yeah, I don't feel like I trust you. I need to feel like I have permission, and being and these are conflicting. So feeling like I have permission means that I am giving up and doing something I'm more ambivalent about. Because if I'm fulfilling someone else's desire, it's not going to align, like I said, and I'll be more ambivalent. But now that the fact, so I want to have the scraps. I whatever pleasure I can derive from that is what I want. I don't want to I want to have I mean I have other fantasies.
You want guilt-free pleasure. That sounds what it sounds like to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can I create a hypothetical for you?
After they've given the pleasure to themselves, you want what's left over.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm telling you right now. If you just become a person that tries to make your partner orgasm a good 2 to 3 times I know that I don't feel able to orgasm until the other person has orgasmed at least 2 or 3 times. That was my pattern for ages. I would need to engage in fellatio. My sex sessions would last 3 hours. It took a really long time before I was able to come first because I was influenced by a lot of the things that people in the late 20s to 30s experience, which is this first pivotal moment where media was constantly saying men are bad at sex, men are not giving enough, men always come and then never do. And so everybody hyper corrected in the opposite direction. Yeah. And we became very nervous sexual partners that are constantly trying. And it created ED for some people. And then on the other hand, it's created this anachronistic thing where it's how did you learn how to do that? And it's I just was told my entire childhood that you are destined to be a selfish lover, to the point that I overcorrected in the opposite.
Yeah, you were just overcorrecting me when you were telling me that that shit about convolution, all that. You're spinning a web to try to overcorrect for me, because in me saying that because now I had to correct for you, but in me saying that what I truly want is someone else's true desire and to be part of that, and that's my true desire, and then you're saying that undermines the ability for true desire. However,
can
the
I
fuck
walk
you said
through
it?
my hypothetical and genuine really quick? Because that's what I wanted to do, and it was sloppy. But let's say that I tell you that I want to suck your dick, And then you have to ask your question. You can ask me the question. You can say, do you want to suck my dick, or do you want to get the affirmation? You know that I want my dick sucked, so you are saying that you want to suck my dick. And then I have to ask myself that. And that not only do I not know whether or not I can get to the conclusion of knowing whether I want it in genuine, but how are you going to know that I've gotten to that conclusion in genuine? How can I even communicate that?
This doesn't bother me. I really want a woman that actually wants to suck my dick and like says it. That's rare to come by. Like she always like says it but I have seen it, and when I see it, then I know it, and it just makes sense. Like I actually think you want to suck my dick. You know,
you just want somebody who's visibly into you.
Yes.
Yeah, which is like hard to find. Like with like women, there's so many layers of. I mean, I think it's gonna be easier now that I'm entering my 30s, but
it will be. Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
Yes,
it will be. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it's certainty that you care about. You want unambiguity. You could literally be being lied to, but by someone that's so good at lying that you would never know, and it would be the same experience. But in this moment, we're talking like what everybody really wants, which is everybody wants to believe they have the real thing,
Well, they
the genuine article.
They want to feel it. But so can I? So this is the really critical thing, and this is like so. This is the question that you have to be asking yourself. If this is the way that you feel about a woman who's your sex partner in whatever circumstance, that you want to know that they're desiring something. Like it's great if they're desiring you, but in general, you want like that they have desires, and that's something that you can participate in.
Yeah,
that's really fucking cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
women are different for men in lots of ways, but in that way, I think we're pretty similar. In that, like, what women want is they want to know that you have desires, and they want to participate in that.
Yes.
And you're kind of like denying their desire.
Yeah.
In order to try to get to some phantasmatical thing that you're preventing from being possible.
Yes,
you're like you desire first. Like
I've wrecked. No. Hold on.
You desire.
I'm trying. Like when I said it, I was giving it in the context of the like censored porn thing, where it's obviously completely really on my side, but like that's not that's sort of different from like in a real life scenario. I do feel I am capable of expressing my desire too. But in my fantasy, I'm not. So, yeah.
But yeah, so maybe that's like the thing to focus on is like being. I mean, this is like just a general thing of like I don't know, being less of a people pleaser. Maybe this is like for me, my big journey is like being able to say more directly what I want and accepting that saying what I want isn't. It can be selfish, but it's not only selfish because when people know what they want, they can give you what they want, and sometimes it's really easy. But when people don't know what they want, people who like you will still try to give you what they want, but it might be really fucking hard for them to ever do it. So it's a really good thing for everybody, for you, and I don't mean just you, but anybody, to be able to even just start doing that and to be open and vulnerable to do that. It's not easy.
Smeth, you want a woman that wants to suck your dick and genuinely wants to, but how wide a range of reasons behind wanting to suck your dick are you okay with?
This is also something I've kind of thought about. Because some reasons don't feel good.
What if it was for the taste and no sexual pleasure alone?
That'd be awesome. That'd be so cool. I'm into that. That'd be awesome.
Oh, I just gotta know the taste.
Okay, no, yeah, I have a fantasy of that. Yeah, like where like because it's like I have an autistic sort of fantasy, like of a sensory stim, because like just playing video games and having someone like suck your dick for like 2 hours while you played video games, but like you're not gonna come. but like it would just feel really good.
Yeah.
But like that's not like sexual. It's like autistic. So like I would love that. It would be great.
I've got a weird sex experience that I had recently that I've never considered as a desire before. It was two things happened at once. One, they came over and brought weed. I do not smoke weed. It was in the form of a vape pen, and I pulled way too hard and got way higher than I've ever been in my entire life. And they came over wanting to suck my dick. And I was just like way too high to be the type of sexual identity I usually have, where I'm like an active participant. So she's sucking my dick, and then I'm spending the entire time there just being like, okay, this is happening. And then at some point, as she's going into it with the incessants, I was like, I'm not going to come. I'm refusing to come. And not only am I refusing to come, that's what I'm getting out of this. You're not here to get it. You're here to want it. That was the thought I had in my head. You want my cum, but you're not here to get my cum. You're here to want my cum until you no longer want it, and then you're gone. And if I'm going to get anywhere close, I'll stop you. And it was like the weirdest thought I've ever had. And I was like, that's the type of like deep, strange sexual desire that I don't usually have.
That's the kind I always have.
But now I know other people can have. Mm-hmm. So that means that I know that I've had sex with people that have had that thought before, or a thought similar to that before. And I'm like, that is knowing that the depths of that exist inside of you, and that it exists in types of other people in certain
people
frames
you've
of mind.
had sex with.
Yeah, exactly. I need to now know that there are several people that I've had sex with where they were unwilling to give me the thing that I want, and that was what was getting them off.
Yeah.
That they were not
They
willing.
might get off on you, like, giving good head, but not, they're like, I'm not going to come. They might get off on
Yeah. It's like, it's infinite regret.
But
to
like
the point
also,
where it made me accept pretty much every sexual act as impossible
to understand. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll never
What
really
it
know.
means.
It's the Beyond Good and Evil Nietzsche. I will never know whether or not the experience I'm having, they're having, are the same. Or
I assume they're not. I assume that they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, two different realities, and it doesn't matter at that point. There's no reason to be nervous about it because you're never gonna have control.
That's the thing. I just want to know what your reality is. I want like you to try to like tell me like what's
Not
going
possible.
on.
I mean, good communication, like that's a as you go into your 30s, it'll probably get easier, and the people you meet will be maybe also in their 30s, and they'll probably be better at like being open.
There are so many times where like, especially with like kink type things, like it'll like start happening, come to an abrupt stop, and then into a 3-hour long conversation about childhood. For me, like this has happened with me many times, so. Yeah, like that. Then, like maybe the next time, I don't know. Then it happens again. I don't know. It's a perpetual trauma machine.
Is it?
There's a lot of letting go that can be done so easily in it, though. There's like so much letting go of trauma that can be done in sex if you're really, really thinking about it. So, like the question then is. That vulnerability is like a good place to re-traumatize, and it's also a good place to let go of it. You're willing to take the risk? If you have no trauma, then you should stop having sex. Because
what's the point?
The risk factor is infinite, and the pleasure factor is so minuscule. The more trauma you have, the more you need to have sex. You gotta do it.
I don't think that's true. I would say differently.
What they need is condoms.
No. I was gonna say if you have no traumas, then like I don't even know how you could have sex. Like
that's fair.
Yeah,
I just wanted to be extremely irresponsible and push the hypersexuality.
No sex
natural.
until
It is your job.
You must have this many traumas to ride.
You must be raped before you could come.
Jesus Christ! Listen, it might be true. To see to the other side.
Is that
good talk? I have a headache and need to take a shower. So I'm thinking that I'm hitting the precipice of interestingness. So I'm cool to conclude if you guys are.
Yeah, I'm cool to conclude.
Yeah, no, this was really fun.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, nice.
Smeth, I'm not going to be streaming after this. Sock, are you? Do you want to rate out somebody else, or what are we thinking?
I had hot yoga before this, so.
You had hot yoga?
Yeah.
What made it so hot? No, that's good. Have a good night, y'all. Then I am.
We could all raid somebody at the same time.
I was gonna say everybody.
I don't even know how to raid.
That'd be really fun.
I don't. I
They
think
get
that
fucking a raid train ran on them.
this is my first stream, and nobody gave me any. But first stream with super chats. I think I can raid people now on YouTube, but I don't know how. So I'm gonna have to figure
I'm on
that out
Twitch.
another time. Yeah, whatever.
Well, if you want to run a raid train on somebody. May I propose?
It's not. I'm not doing it. I don't know how. I'm
I was
gonna
gonna say.
figure it out.
Proudly
You don't know how?
Radical.
Okay, it's fine then.
Do you know Proudly Radical?
Proudly Radical?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I do. Let me check it out.
Oh, they're cool. I chatted with them a little bit.
PR. I'm anti-PR. I'm all about fucking with the PR. This person's watching somebody read a book. I'm just kidding. It's definitely a video. Wouldn't that be a great stream, just watching one person read a book?
That sounds amazing, actually. Wait a minute. Isn't that the long form kind of like... Isn't that the cure to TikTok?
It's where we're headed. It's where we're headed, yeah. The Swedish, like, it's an entire boat ride, no cuts, no commercials, 3-hour long TV program. They do that over there, right?
It's social media, but it's all utterly serene.
Well, have you ever watched videos of like a train, like the whole train, like I've seen like 5-hour long videos of that. It's pretty nice.
That sounds cool. Yeah.
You know what's a good idea? Take that. It's the slow form content, I think they're calling it, or slow TV or something. They called it like that. Take that and then just splice on top of it.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
3
Dude,
hours.
The Chinese edits with the weird sound effects. You know what I'm talking about? Like the ones they're so weird and creepy. They always have like the weird wheezing laugh, but like the wheezing laugh starts before the funny thing happens. So it's like, yeah. God, it's so awful.
I work in TV as a like traffic control person for stuff.
Cartoon
and
character.
The room is full of people that are constantly looking at TikToks and playing mobile games in one hand while they're doing their job with the rest of their body. It's so insufferable. I will hear that laugh sound effect all the time. I will hear just like the dinging of Bejeweled just all day. There's one person who there's one guy in there. He sings random jingles unprompted all day, and then he always laughs to himself right after.
Oh,
so just he's sitting there. He'll be like editing.
Maybe he's editing.
He's cutting all of the commercials off of a thing, and then he'll just go, "Maybe it's Maybelline." And I walked past his workspace, and he just had a pile of used lottery tickets, and my first thought was, yeah, that checks out. It's just a bunch of people that are addicted to stimulus.
Junkie Doodles said to tell you, Tuna, that they say hi.
Junkie, what's poppin', brother? Glad to see it. Yeah, Junkie, I didn't stream at the same time because as soon as I got... So if you guys don't already know, one of the main reasons I was late is it's raining like fucking cats and dogs. After work, I stopped by the fucking computer store to buy a new power supply. My computer turns off right now if it pushes a stream and a conversation at the same time. It just turns off.
Mm-hmm.
So, are any of you, or is anybody in the chat good with computers? Send me a DM on this fucking on this shit, whether or not it's on Twitch or on. I need somebody that knows what the fuck is going on, because I have put way too much money trying to fix up this computer to have this happen. It's fucking with my streaming shit.
All right, I'm gonna
talk to y'all later.
All right, see you.
I'm gonna raid off to Proudly.
Love ya.
Right. All right. Tomorrow, you won't see it, but I'm doing interview with Sleepy. I have a video in the works, and on Friday at 8:30 p.m. EST, I'm going to be on Speakeasy's panel about copyright and content creators and all that drama. I'm going to plan some more one-on-one conversations. Look forward to that video. Look forward to Sleepy's video. And have a good night.